RotoGrinders, Dean here. Dean 7904. If you want to get all technical, it's a start right now, to start a 2+ hours of nonstop Mlb Dfs conversation. Taking you straight up the lock. It's a Friday night. It's a big boy slate. It's a 13-gamer. It's myself, former $1 million winner Bobby Gomes. Bobby, 13-gamer, big boy slate. You know, I was in the Discord. I was going to throw it in the Discord earlier about it's a weird one, man. It's wide open. You can make an argument. I was talking to the producer, Devin, about this as well, and he'll probably chime in at some point and join the conversation. But, like, you can theoretically make an argument for, I don't know, 16, 17, 18 pitchers. You don't feel great about anyone, but all of them are kind of, like, usable. Most of them are – I shouldn't say all, but most of them are usable. And the same deal as far as stacks. You know, there's 2 or 3 up top, right? Houston, San Fran, Coors, maybe Minnesota if you want to make that argument, sure. But after that, it flattens out pretty quickly. But, you know, we got an hour and 15 minutes until we yield to crunch time. I believe it's Dave Potts, Cheese is Good, as well as Kevin Roth. Welcome to the show, Bobby. How's Friday treating you?
Yeah, everything's going good. Happy to be on here with 2 of the 3 members of the People's Show, which airs Sunday at 9:30 a.m. It's not a great time for Dean. He complains about it constantly, but we'll be there. Tim won't be there because he's going to be dealing with a hurricane in Maine. But yeah, happy to be here talking MLB on this Friday with you, Dean. Yeah, big 13-game slate, a lot of offenses, a lot of pitching. For me, I know we have a ton of pitching that you want to play. I'm trying to get condensed at pitcher because I want to pay up for these bats. So it's kind of my thought process on the slate.
Well, I probably wasn't clear about that. It's not that necessarily there's a lot of pitching I want to play. It's that and I'm not making 100 lineups or 150 lineups. I make like 5 or 6, a couple of main ones, and I'll just kind of like throw a couple darts here and there, that kind of thing. But I think you can make an argument for up to 16 or 18 of these pitchers, and we can kind of run through them. We have plenty of time, obviously. Tristan Casas was just scratched for Boston. By the way, speaking of Boston, speaking of your Red Sox, did you see Peter Gammons today talking about Ohtani going to the Red Sox? I don't know if you caught that article, but
Ohtani needs to go to the Yankees. Why is he going to the Red Sox? I would love for him to go. I didn't see it. I'm very happy about the Chaim Bloom firing, though.
Yeah, you were talking about that yesterday. He's the guy that was talking about, he was victory lapping. You were telling me he was victory lapping getting rid of Betts.
He was victory lapping, I guess, at like a writer's dinner or like some donor dinner or something that he got rid of Mookie for Alex Verdugo. So for what that's worth, like he deserved to lose his job. I don't know how, like even 2 years after the trade, like, I'm pretty sure Mookie won an MVP within the last 2 years, right? So
I believe so. And in a different year, he would win it this year too, but he's not going to.
In a different year, he would win it this
unreal.
year.
Yeah. And Verdugo has been fine, right? He's fine, but you know, he's very replaceable.
Fine, but he's not Mookie Betts. Like the other thing is, like they said they lied about what they offered Betts. I think they said they offered him a certain number that he said he never received. It's just like typical Fenway stuff coming out of Fenway that's like not great. They'll be hammering Chaim as he leaves. Currently, I bet they're probably already started.
His first name is Chaim, just to be clear.
That's his name. Yep.
Okay.
Chaim Bloom.
Have you ever met a Chaim before? I've never been a Chaim. I didn't. Is that okay? No?
If I lived in the country, I'd probably have chimes in my backyard. You know,
chimes are like little trinkets, right? That's what I think a chime is, like something you buy like at the flea market for $2.
Yeah, I would. They're little trinkets. Aren't they those wind things that they chime in the wind?
Well, I think that
have those in Florida. There's no wind.
Put them, by the door and like wind blows but I don't think they're exclusive to that. Devin, I know, has some experience in the country. Producer Devin, do you know, without Googling, are we on the right track? Are we close enough as far as what a chime is? Or is
I definitely think you're on par with what a wind chime is. I can't speak to what the other translation is. That you,
I don't know what
Mr. Richard in chat says pronounced Heim.
Chaim Bloom or whatever his name is, yeah.
Of course, I know a good old wind chime. That soothes the soul hearing a good wind chime.
Maybe they just call him Chime on sports radio to like, or maybe they call him Heim. I don't know, but I feel like they're just like they've been correcting him for about a year and a half now.
Dynamite drop in by Michael in chat. Chimes make the noise.
Yeah, a chime is a melodious ringing sound produced by striking a bell. Yeah, sure. Okay, yes. No, you can have it in wind chime form if you want to hang it in front of your door and that kind of thing. And by the way, it's not his fault, right? But I feel like you're just automatically pretentious if you're born with the name Haim. I don't know why. It's not his fault, but it just feels like your chances of being pretentious are increased. Never met the guy. I don't know who the guy is, and maybe I'm just being that's not fair of me to just judge and assume. But you're not a fan, Bobby. That's what I'm hearing, at least.
I'm not a fan. No, not at all. I can't be a fan. I never root for the guy. Just typical Red Sox stuff. If they get a new GM that I like, I'll probably be back, and I'll jump on the bandwagon. If they get Ohtani, I'll be back on the bandwagon. You know me, Dean. That's what Kirk said, right? I'm a big bandwagon guy. So
I can appreciate that you concede it, though. You admit it. Like, at least you own it, which is fine. And that's much better than just, you pretend and you bury the hat when they're like 0-16, that kind of thing. But all of a sudden we're going.
The thing is, I'll like them when no one else likes them. So the year they won, I liked them. But everyone thought they stunk going into the year, and I was like, oh, I kind of like them. And then,
well, there you go.
Yeah, so I was on it early. So I jumped back on early because I seen what no one else saw. They were actually pretty good. Tim is a fan of wind chimes, now, and about to hit a thunderstorm in Maine. He's big.
You probably want to bring those in. You probably bring them inside, I suppose. John says, "Do not look up chime in Urban Dictionary." I don't know what that. I don't know. I don't know what we're saying.
Anything you look up in Urban Dictionary is like crazy, though.
Let's not put that out
shouldn't
there.
Look up anything in Urban Dictionary.
This is someone who has seen something that we shouldn't see. So let's just take the wisdom and go.
Yes. There you go. Probably. Who was the guy? Never Google. Evan Fournier. Don't Google that either. Just throwing that out there. For whatever reason, you're feeling like you want to Google Evan Fournier and how bad he's been for New York. You might end up in the wrong spot for that as well.
I know we're really off base. What did Gammon say about Ohtani?
He tweeted out that like Boston seems like a possible like realistic landing spot. Now Gammon is like 90 for what it's worth, so I don't know how much how locked in he still is at this point. But I can pull it up if you're really curious.
Him and Yoshida are like really good friends, I guess. Maybe that was the angle.
That's what he was talking about. NL executive, long familiar with Ohtani, believes he is interested in Boston, partly because of his relationship with New Balance CEO Jim Davis. Like, okay, Boston, both Sox problem. Yoshida has to DH. Ohtani off Tommy John must DH. Sox mostly going to pitching. So I don't know. He was just sort of throwing it out there, but I'm sure a lot of teams, at least the ones that are willing to pay for him, are going to be interested in Ohtani. Yeah. You know who's not going to have Ohtani next year? You know it is. I can tell you who's not going to have Ohtani next year.
The Yankees.
The Angels. The Angels.
Oh, the Angels. Yeah, the Angels.
Good Lord. Don't get me started on another rant as far as how terrible the Angels are. That updated Boston lineup, Rafael is leading off, Devers, Turner, Verdugo, Yoshida, Abreu, Story, McGuire, and Urias. All right. Main slate here, Bobby. 13-gamer. There's like no amazing pitcher, right? It's like there's a collection of like Noah's probably supposed to be the best pitcher, but like he really hasn't been, right? I know historically he's not a great pitcher on the road if you care about such things. You're not getting much of a discount. Justin Steele's been spectacular this year. He's probably the Cy Young winner in the National League, or like possibly right there with I've not seen the updated odds. Right there with Sale. By the way, shout out to Sale who crushed the other day when he was like 10% owned versus the Dodgers. That's just what he does. But like there's a collection of like really other good pitchers, but not great pitchers. George Kirby. I'm really curious to see. I don't know if you saw the note where he was with a soundbite where he was talking about kind of complaining that he was thrown back out.
I did see this. That Kirby's axed. He's gutless. That you got to be. You're gutless. We can't play Kirby tonight.
He since apologized.
He doesn't want to go more than 6.
Yeah, he was like basically saying like, yeah, I went out there and I didn't make my pitch, but he said I didn't want to go back out to the game, and he had thrown 90 pitches. And he's like, why am I going out there? And like all the olds like are coming in and coming at him on Twitter. Was it Mike Mulder?
They should as well. They should.
Like
back Noah Ryan, I used to pitch 3 days in a row, 9 innings. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, like he's a young kid. Pitch the 6 innings. If they tell you to go back out, go back out. Like that's it. That's what they.
I'm just curious. I'm curious, like if they're gonna like overcompensate, or he's like, yeah, we're gonna have a conversation. Or if now they're going to like baby him even further, because he's kind of been baby. Like he was a younger product, obviously. We're projecting 92 pitches for what it's worth. But Eflin's fine, but kind of pricey. I think one of the most interesting pitchers in this slate is Hunter Green, which we'll talk about. because you can make an argument if you want. The Hunter Green is like one of the highest ceilings in the slate. And you can also make an argument that he has one of the lowest floors, right? Like he's the guy that he is the Robbie Ray. He is the Blake Snell. Walks, fly balls, home runs, and a ton of strikeouts. That's what you're going to get out of the guy. Now, are those fly balls going to go over the fence? I don't know, but maybe they might. Then there's Tarek Skubal, who's been spectacular. He's been awesome. What was the notes? Is it last 5 games, at least 7 strikeouts per outing? I don't know when it's going to happen, but I feel like at some point, Skubal is going to get pushed down as far as his pitch count because Detroit's going nowhere. I'm not trying to make anybody nervous. Maybe they just don't let him pitch the last week of the season. Again, and he's got a massive history of injuries too. There's no upside to push him. But they have pushed him, right? 95 pitches his last start, 97, 97, 85, 88. I feel like at some point he's going to get cut off. Now, maybe they just let him go one more time in the 90s. He's great, end the season. But I haven't seen anything out there as far as that. I'm not trying to make people paranoid about it. But I think at some point, maybe just get shut down because why? He is the best pitcher on that team going forward. Detroit's going nowhere. Massive injury history. But he probably projects, I think he does project as one of the best plays in the slate. But how do you feel about Skubal? I think it's interesting as a starting point because the Angels are horrific. And I don't know if Ohtani is questionable or they've not ruled him out for the season yet. We've already had this conversation. He was day-to-day a month ago or whatever. Still hasn't played. Ohtani's not walking through that door.
Call that.
Well, I mean, what's the point, right? And his agent's probably not going to happen anyway.
If I was him, I wouldn't go out there. Why would I risk hundreds of millions of dollars?
He's already got the UCL thing with his arm, so we'll see how that turns out. But Skubal versus the Angels, probably without Ohtani. We know how terrible that lineup is. Both pitchers in that game looking really good. Griffin Canning on the other side against the bad Detroit team. But again, none of this is spectacular, but Skubal probably the best pitcher. 30.4% as far as Ks. That's really strong. A ton of ground balls as well. One of the top ground ball pitchers on the slate. Is that the starting point as far as pitchers for you today or someplace else?
I'm seeing I think the cash game optimal is going to be Canning, Peterson. It kind of looks like to me. But I do think that in higher stake stuff, I think Skubal is going to be the guy that people gravitate to. I don't think I think just because they wouldn't throw Canning and Skubal in the same lineup just because I'm just thinking from a cash game perspective. But in tournaments, you can definitely do that. I don't know. I like Skubal. I like the ceiling. He's probably my favorite pitcher on the slate. I'm a little bit more down on Canning. So yeah, I think Skubal's a really good play. Like we talked about this Angels lineup, they did all types of waiver trades. They didn't trade Ohtani. Ohtani's not in the lineup. For me, Skubal's probably going to be my highest owned pitcher. And I think he's in a really good spot. Good price tag.
So that is ownership-wise, that's where we're at, right? 27% for Skubal, 27% for Canning. This is as of 5:02 on the East Coast. So less than 15 minutes ago, we got an update when it comes to ownership. It's pretty flat today. Lots of pitchers in the teens. Seth Lugo, he's taking on Oakland. We know Oakland's pretty terrible. He's coming in at 20%. You mentioned David Peterson, I guess, is the top cheapie. If you need to kind of go down in the cheapie, see 6.6K. Taking on a Cincinnati team that's kind of fallen off. They were much sexier a few months ago. And the other thing is that massive negative ballpark shift for Cincinnati, jumping out of Great American Ballpark into Citi Field, a pitcher-friendly atmosphere. Hunter Green is getting 15%, which I think is pretty interesting. I thought people would be just kind of afraid on him. And you look at his game log, even I hate to just be a game log guy, but he has those games where he can strike out a bunch of people, he can give up a bunch of homers, walk a bunch of guys, and you just never really know what you're going to get out of Green. I think I'm going to have him. I'm thinking about him in single entry, but I'm also thinking about playing some Mets in a different lineup because I just think you can play both sides of it. You can do the same conversation with Giolito. We'll get to him in a second as well, who can give up a bunch of homers, but also can strike out 7 or 8. That's possible as well. You mentioned Peterson. Why is Peterson your favorite cheapie?
I was just seeing him popping and stuff. For me, maybe you don't have to go to in terms of Cincinnati, I really don't mind attacking them when I can. So yeah, I could, in the price is 6.6. Like it's a pretty good way to go low and basically be able to spend up for bats. So I don't know. You don't like Peterson?
He's fine. Yeah, I mean, I think he's fine, but like, I think a lot of it's fine. I don't have a lot of takes when it comes to the pitchers. Yeah.
So for me, like Hunter Green, right? If you did want to get off school, like you said, 9K, he's right there in that range. But then the same thing with Giolito, like Canning, we have him at 35%. Giolito's 8.3 and Canning's 8.2. I think you're making a decision on one of Canning or Skubal to get off of. Do you worry about Skubal's pitch count, you said?
I probably shouldn't have thrown it out there. I didn't mean to phrase it like in a way like to be scared tonight. I think it's possible. I think the team at some point is going to pull the plug on him. He's not going to be pitching like with 3 days left in the season. Like I can't imagine.
Yeah.
So maybe they're just letting him go another start or two, and that's that. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not running the organization. That's not my job. But there's no upside in pushing Skubal like to the end of the season. Like he's been great, good for him. You know, we point to next year for him. But okay, like we're pushing him 3-4 more starts. Why? Like what is the upside in that? So maybe it's not today. Maybe it's 2 weeks from today, right? So I didn't mean to phrase it as if it's happening tonight, but I haven't seen anything to be concerned about lately.
I do think that you want one of Hunter Green or Giolito, just because of the ceiling that they both have. I think I would prefer Hunter Green, and Hunter Green would be the pivot off of Skubal. So I might raise my Canning a little bit, just because Canning's at 8.2. I don't want to pitch Hunter Green and Giolito together too much. Just a lot of variance there, but yeah, if I'm going to pair them, I think I'd go Canning Hunter Green over Skubal Hunter Green, if that makes any sense, just because those seem like the two chalkiest guys that we have in terms of ownership.
Green has got a 35% K rate this year versus lefties. He's been hurt for a chunk of it. That's 186 plate appearances. We're looking at Nemo, Stewart, McNeil, Ortega, and Navarez. I believe and Mauricio. It's 6 lefties, not lineup. But you know the walks are 13.4% too, which is also concerning. That is the deal, and he'll give up some fly balls as well. So, just if you want to lean in on extremes, I think you're supposed to. It's like a general rule. Get over on Green and maybe get over on attacking Green. That's just like one of my general thoughts. Like I like to get over on Minnesota, and I like to pick on Minnesota. You know, just because they have home run guys and they have strikeout guys, and just kind of lean into and hope that you get a big variance outcome one way or the other on a given day.
Yeah.
Peterson, they're saying in chat, Peterson stinks, by the way. He's not great. He's fine.
They're right.
The Cincinnati lineup today that they're rolling out, actually, it's pretty contact heavy. Outside of Renfroe and India, we're looking at pretty contact heavy lineup, 25.9% for India, 23% for Renfroe, no Ellie De La Cruz. They picked up Harrison Bader. He's a contact guy, but he's mostly known for, and in a small sample, he's done good against lefties, but I don't fully trust that when it comes to the power, but he's a pretty good fielder, good speed, and good contact guy, but not a lot of Ks in that lineup for what it's worth. And on the season, Peterson, Ks are pretty good, 24.3%. That's all right.
Yeah.
Good ballpark, like we said. But this is just sort of like the collection of pitchers that we're talking about. Peterson, Christian Javier, Logan Webb, really good pitcher, but he's in Coors. Giolito taking on Texas. Texas a little bit weakened with the absence of some of their hitters, Young and Abisail Garcia, but still, especially up top with Semien and Seager, they are tough. Garver, is he in the lineup? I think he is, right? Yesterday, I believe he exited with, I guess, a minor injury.
I wouldn't want to throw Giolito versus Texas. Like that just, there's not a ton of appeal there for me. Just crushing righties all year, pretty much. That would be something I'd be very nervous to do.
So Giolito on the season is homers per 9 is almost 2, 1.98. A lot of fly balls, just a 17.4% homer and a fly ball. It's a little high, but not like, he's just being super, super unlucky. And he's reverse splitsy too. So hello, Marcus Semien. Hello, Mitch Garver, who is in the lineup there for Texas. I've been burned by Texas picking on Kikuchi, got me the other day. I think it was a couple homers. He gave up a couple homers to Lau, and can't remember the other one. Maybe it was Grossman or something like that. But this Texas team does have a fair bit of power. It sounds like you have Green in front of Giolito as far as the extreme pitchers. That's what I'm hearing.
Definitely Green in front of Giolito. In terms of Peterson, like if he did end up chalky, we don't have him as chalk, but PFAT has a 25% K rate to righties last 30 days. Like you could definitely go there, I would say. He's at 6.5. I think you're going to want one of these low end pitchers to get up to the bats, right? So, yeah, I'm just thinking of guys like in that range. I don't mind Bello either. I think those guys are in play. Bello, I like Bello a good bit. Like he's been a good prospect. I know he struggled recently, but I think you can get away with pitching him versus Toronto.
So I'm pretty sure he's a big splits guy, right? And there's not a lot of lefties in that Toronto side that you're afraid of, especially with Belt on the IL. Who are their lefties? Biggio, who's just not very good. Kiermaier, another glove guy, speed guy, and Dalton Varsho, who's been one of the more disappointing hitters this season. 170 ISO against the righties, which is okay, but I feel like he's been kind of disappointing there for Toronto. So, Bayo from a splits perspective, let's see, this season, 202 ISO versus lefties. That's unacceptable. 370 WOBA, but versus righties, pretty good. And the Ks also jump from 13.9% versus lefties to 25% versus righties. So I think you're onto something with Bayo. I think I saw the roof was open there for what it's worth.
What's Bayo's ownership? Do we have his ownership?
Let's see. Let's give that a scroll. I don't think it's that high. I'm going to guess somewhere around 10-ish, 12-ish. 12. It's also compacted, right? So
I
can be
2%.
significantly over that.
I see 2% on Bayo.
Yeah, I see 2% on the bat or 1%.
What was that?
I think I'm on the bat as well. By the way, Dean, I'm springing this on you live here, but we're going to do our Friday giveaway. I've already dropped the note in our Discord, but we're doing the random number.
Here it is.
1 through 200. So the submission box is open. Hop in the RG Discord, hashtag live stream chat, and that's where we'll be taking the guesses.
We're in the MLB live. The live stream chat. Okay,
live stream chat. Yep.
All right, and we should mention, this goes without saying, unless otherwise noted, Price is Right rules are in effect. You cannot go over. If you go over, you're automatically eliminated. Correct, Devin?
Thank you, our illustrious host. Yes.
All right. Help control the pet population. Have your pet spayed or neutered. We shall move on and talk about who are you asking about the ownership of? Bayo?
Bayo. Bat has him at like 1%. I can bump him to like 15%. I can play him at 15 to 20% in the spot.
2% according to the MLB Plate IQ RotoGrinders projections. And there's not a huge difference.
Sorry, Dean. I also lied. I'm also on the Plate IQ projections. I just wanted to make sure the viewers saw that as well. I lied.
No worries. All good. You had good intentions, though, and that's what matters.
I try.
It's just that, Bobby, what's the difference between Bayo and Bobby Miller at 13%? And not that 13% is this monster number.
It's like just a 2K price. It's like a 1K price difference almost. It's like an $800 price difference.
Okay, Christian Javier. I'll work my way down. He's at 12% at 7.9. Basically the same play, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same play. The weather in that Houston KC, I'm going to be pulling bats from that Houston KC game. Just Weather Edge really likes that game, so I think that maybe I'm probably off Javier. Just like Bayo versus Toronto, you can get over on that. PFAT, like I said, I liked him versus Chicago. I don't know who else is down. Anyone else down here? Yeah, I get what you're saying.
There's a lot. How about Webb? Why isn't Webb in your pool?
Ownership's going to spread? Just play your favorite plays. Play the best plays, Dean. You know what I mean? These are the best plays I think in this range. I can only give you what I think are the best plays. You know what I mean? Your Christian Javier hasn't done it for me all year. I'm not playing any Christian Javier. I guess you could play him though.
You say play the best plays, and our median projections. We have Scooball, Canning, Hunter Green, Seth Lugo, all at 17-ish points. They're all kind of the same, and they're all kind of the same as far as price. Webb and Bobby Miller both around 16 points, and then a bunch of guys around 15 points. Steele, Nola, Kirby, Barrios. It's just a bunch of guys that like all look sort of fine. How many?
Where's Bayo? Bayo's definitely way down, right?
12 points. Yeah, 12.5 points is median projection. But I think if you tell me Bayo beats Barrios and Javier and Kirby, I wouldn't be shocked. Like, they're all basically in the same bucket for me.
There's no way I'm playing Kirby. He didn't want to go up for the 6th inning or whatever the issue was. He's out. Kirby is out.
How do they handle that? Because you know how Prize Picks, sometimes they will post like number of pitches thrown. And I was thinking like it could be like a savvy bet, like bet the under, because are they going to overcompensate, or maybe he's going to overcompensate and say, screw you guys. I hear you're calling me out. I'm going to throw for 102 pitches today or something like that.
Maybe it's up to the coach, Dean. And I don't think Dave Roberts. I mean, it's not Dave Roberts. What am I saying? It's up to the coach. They don't want to go. Do you think that if they already wanted to pull him, they're not going to? Well, maybe they will. I don't know. I don't think that they will. I don't think they're going to pitch him more than 6 innings. Yeah. Not Dave Roberts. Who's the coach of the Mariners? That's off topic. Who cares? Not a big deal.
Scott Service, former catcher Scott Service.
Yeah, so I guess you could play Javier, right? Like, you make a good point about Javier. Like, maybe I should be considering Javier more. Thing is, I want Houston. I want KC bats. So, yeah, I don't know. It's the same thing with Hunter Green. Like, you can play both sides, and it's going to be the cop-out answer for MME. Like, you can play both sides of that game. You can play Javier, and you can play the bats with Houston and Kansas City. I wouldn't play the Mets bats versus Hunter Green, though. I'm off the Mets. You're on the Mets.
Well, I mean, just because he will give up, he will have those implosion games. He will walk players, and he certainly can give up a 3-run homer. He can give up 2 3-run homers.
Are you going to have a Met as your Dean Dong guy? Like, I know you've been pretty accurate there. Maybe I'll jump back on the Mets if that's where you're going to go.
I got to be honest. The Dongs have, some might say the Dongs have gone limp. It's been a rough week for the Dongs. I think we weren't on the show yesterday, but Lewis was going to be the first one. That doesn't count. I don't want credit for wanting to give up to the people. But we got to bounce back here on a Friday. I don't know.
Did you just try to take the credit though?
No. But like I was prepared to do the show yesterday, and I had an emergency where I couldn't do it, unfortunately. So, but I had one that was like, yeah, this is my guy. This is the guy. He's the player I featured, the player I wrote up in the expert survey as well. And this is by no means a victory lap, but like Lewis was like the clear.
It seems like a victory lap, kind of.
No. Again. I'm just saying I would have broken.
It seems like you're saying it, but you're not trying to say it. Yeah.
I would have broke the dongless streak because I think we went 2 days without a dong. But again, no victory lap here. I think we had 3 on Monday.
I don't know if we want to break the dongs, Dean. Let's avoid doing that.
Dennis Rodman tells a story about Carmen Electra that it's kind of on point in this conversation. We probably shouldn't delve into it, but go for
it. Family show. Guy? Oh, I've got one in my lap. The other one's climbing around the chair.
I figured you to be a cat guy, to be perfectly honest.
I've got a dog lying over there as well. So it's about feeding time. Things are about to get crazy over here.
What is it? Midnight over there? The gremlins are getting wild.
Don't ever go down in that house. They'll be feeding on you.
Hold on, Bobby. You said you figured him for a cat guy. Is that a compliment? What does a cat guy look like?
I'll take it.
He just looks like a cat guy.
I am what I am,
He's both, though. A lot of people like to argue like which one's better, and it's like, why can't you don't have to choose, is my understanding.
Yeah.
It's really weird when people get like,
I'm a dog. I'm not a cat person.
What do you have against cats?
You definitely have a cat.
I like both.
The confidence. I love the confidence.
I did grow up with cats, for the record, so good job. But I'm a big fan of dogs too. Like, secretly, I'd rather have a dog. The best compliment you can give a cat is to say it's like a dog. So like dogs are certainly better. They're more fun, but cats are easier, right? They're more independent. Devin, put up a poll: cat or dog? Let's see where the people are at. I bet you dog. I'll tell you, dog wins.
Jack could have a bunch of cat guys in there, I think.
But I feel like you're using it like in a slanderous sense. Like a cat guy is like insulting in a sense. Are you not? Are you doing that or no?
You can take it how you want it, Dean. You can take it how you want it.
Yeah, What's the former GM for the Boston? What's the guy's name? Heim definitely a cat guy.
Heim.
Definitely a cat guy or a dog guy? What do you think?
He's a cat guy. There's no way he likes dogs.
I think you can like both. I'm pretty sure you don't have to choose.
Dean, by the way, I mentioned to you in pre-show I was going to do some lineup runs.
Yeah,
I have some exposures. I was going to aim for 20 lineups, and I got 16. So
what did you run? How did you get Hunter Green in the cat? What did you do there? What do you have for random?
I have no cap. I was running on open settings, DraftKings. I started with 150 lineups, all exclusively 5-3 stacks, and spread out across all the teams. So pretty much allowing
any other rules?
No, allowing max of 10 from each, 2 unique players from each, and allow full salary. So pretty wide open. A lot of Griffin Canning, a lot of Hunter Green.
Can I make some edits to that?
Yeah, what do you got?
Let's go back into the exposures.
Well, I'll say this isn't what I would normally run like at the end of a slate, but this might be something I would do to kind of get an idea of what I want to have, right? But normally, if I go to the
if you want to run the optimal, just run the. Is that what you just ran?
Oh no, I'm just saying like what some lineups I would be happy with playing. The optimal looks like it's Lugo Canning with a lot of Minnesota, San Fran, some Houston.
Are you married to 5-3, Devin? That's just what you feel comfortable with?
Especially on a slate this big, yeah. No need to go, a little less than that. If it was like 5 games, maybe I'd allow some 5-2, maybe some 4-3.
Do we have Slate IQ up for MLB tonight?
I can check.
I wonder
is that your rule as well, Bobby? You like 5-3 and that's that, or kind of depends on the slate?
Depends on the slate. I think 5-2 right now would be the leader for me.
5-2. Well, I guess the 1 is implied, right?
5-2-1. We have our DraftKings Opto stacks, top MLB stacks and stack value for DraftKings.
Anything interesting? Anything popping there, Devin?
Minnesota looks like it's not high owned enough based on the Opto percentage. San Fran and Houston look like they might be a little over-owned.
Should have mentioned we got a San Fran lineup. San Fran and Coors. They have a 6.5 team total against Chase Anderson, Yastrzemski, Estrada, Davis, Conforto, Wade, Haniger, Bailey, Crawford, Matos. So I believe no Jock Peterson, if I'm seeing that correctly. So no Jock Jams in that starting lineup. I think otherwise it's pretty much standard. Matos is in there for Peterson. And I want to double check on that bullpen there for Colorado. We know about San Fran's pinch hitting ways. I think they're still pretty heavy when it comes to being mostly right-handed. There's a couple lefties lurking, but I don't think they get a ton of work necessarily. I'll pull that up in a second. But what else you got for us, Devin? Anything else you wanted to show us slate IQ wise or your lineups? What's popping besides Minnesota and Green?
I'll just hit on some of maybe the stack summaries here. It looks like I had the most owned to San Diego, which interestingly enough, the last several slates I've been playing, I end up really, really high on San Diego. So I don't hate it as far as 5 stacks. And then 3-man stacks, I've got a lot of Houston, some San Fran, and some Cleveland in there.
Yeah, Houston and Kansas City tonight. They have a 6 total against Zach Greinke, whatever nonsense he's throwing up these days. Pretty standard lineup, right? Altuve, Pena, Alvarez, Bregman, Tucker, Abreu, Brantley, McCormick, and Maldonado drew the catching. Did you mention? Oh, is that you were talking about the weather edge, Bobby? Did you mention Kansas City being a positive spot?
Yeah, Houston, KC are a positive spot. But like you said, I know I said I'd be a little bit scared off Javier. I think you definitely pitch Javier.
Yeah, and no matter what the elements are. Go ahead.
In courts tonight, I think you can pitch Webb.
I think so too. I think you can pitch him too. He's a big ground ball guy too. This Colorado lineup is obviously pretty terrible. Colorado has just a 4 total, 4.06. You want to get all technical. Pulled up weather edge. No precipitation issues tonight. Everything should be clean. Roth will clarify in about a half hour or so. But as you mentioned, Bobby, Kansas City, dead center, 10 miles per hour. 79 degrees. We got a 51 dew point. Shout out to Kirkwood. In a 150 game sample, pretty big sample. This ballpark does stink, generally speaking, when it comes to power, but it has increased at a 21% clip when it comes to homers and a 6.7% clip when it comes to runs. So better than it typically is there in KC with the wind blowing out.
Do you know what's more than 150 game sample size?
151?
No, it is 292 game sample size for the Oakland game. 11% increase in home runs. So
okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I might be high on San Diego tonight. That's all I'm saying.
Have you heard the A's stink, Devin? Has that word come down?
I don't think it's reached my snail mail box yet, but I've been hearing
even the Cats. The cats that are rummaging around you, are they're aware. They're throwing out Sean Newcomb, which is like, I think he's drawn like one start this season. Many years ago, he was a starter for the Braves, but we haven't seen a lot of him. I think he's worked a little bit out of the bullpen, but not a ton of a sample there as far as Sean Newcomb this season. And behind him, whatever, I don't know what's coming out after him, is not going to be spectacular. And shout out to Kirkwood again, because are the Padres possibly less gutless tonight? Devin, are we going back? Are we going back to the Padres?
Oh, John in chat was saying not accounting for the gutless factor. So maybe I'm going anti-Kirk tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure if the RG tools account for gutless or not gutless, but the Padres did get up for that Dodgers series, I believe, but on the season,
a couple of good games, yeah. Also, Robbie in chat, cat's only animal that will eat you when you die. Just literally speaking a fear that I have every time my cat goes to lick my eye.
That's what I said on the show.
Yeah, it's every time they go to lick my eye, I go, oh, not yet. Give me time.
What?
Because they're going to the eyes first. That's the first place they go.
Are the eyes delicious? I had no idea. I wasn't aware. The cats think the eyes.
I don't know why, but that's what I've been told.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just stay alive, and you're going to be like, what? Once you're...
All right. I was worried there for a minute. Thanks. Now I just got to stay alive.
I'm worried for you. They go for the eyes. That's not good.
Yeah.
That's a good place. That's an interesting place as an appetizer to start. But I didn't know that. I didn't know cats were in the eyes. But okay, every single day you learn
another reason to fade cats.
I guess chat was right. Dogs 77% in the poll. So
yeah, that was the chalk. I mean, yeah.
Strong winner over here. Yeah.
Let's see. By the way, somebody in chat threw out the number on Prize Picks for Kirby. I think they said it was 93.5 pitches. It was 93.5. Would you take the under on that, Bobby? Because like you said, you don't think he's going beyond 6 innings. He threw 90 and he was done in his head last week. I
would take the over to be contrarian, Dean, but probably just 94 and they get him out of there in 6.
Well, there's no benefit to being contrarian on Prize Picks. This isn't like you're playing against the field. You're playing against the number. You know what I mean? Like there's no reward for winning, for being contrarian. You just want to be correct. It's the same payout either way.
No? For me, there is, Dean. I just want to be right. 94.
By the way, since we're talking about this, kind of mentioning Prize Picks, I should mention to check out the all-new RotoGrinders props and pick'em package for access to our premium suite of fantasy props and pick'em at the limited time introductory price offer. It's 50% off your first month. What do you get? You get access to expert analysis for player prop bets across all sports, fantasy pick'em. It's fantasy pick'em picks and slips. I mentioned the Devin pre-show. So there's like 9,000 P's in this read. I can't. Like I have a propensity. I'm just trying to. It's like you ever see V for Vendetta? That one scene with all the V's. It's spectacular. That's what I'm doing right now, but with all the P's.
I'm actually a big V for Vendetta guy. I like that movie.
It's spectacular. It's very, very good. Back to the read. Fantasy pick'em picks and slips as well. You get full written analysis for every pick. Fantasy pick'em tool for Prize Picks and Underdog Fantasy, and that's kind of what I was talking about. That's kind of what was pertinent to the conversation. Maybe Devin can throw us up on the screen as well for the people. But so I'm going to give it a refresh. I was looking at it before, and I had the NFL up, and I like this. Sometimes these numbers do change, obviously, but James Cook, James Cook, right? Dalvin's brother. He's got a total on Prize Picks at 12.5 receiving yards. If you want to be contrarian, you can bet the under, but I think the over looks pretty good. I don't know if you tell me if you feel like that's pretty good or not.
With the right plays, Dean, I like to play the right play, so I'm gonna go over.
So the tool tells you it lists like the win percentage, likelihood of winning, from the highest number to the lowest number, makes it easy for you. According to our projections, he's got a 77% chance of beating that. And then this is new too. The grade, it's a 3.5-star grade. So I guess 4 is the highest we go. I'm not sure. I've not seen a 4-star grade just yet, but I believe this is new to the tool. But yeah, if you want to play some Prize Picks or Underdog, you just kind of go to just the first 5. If you want to do it that way, or if you want to hunt and peck as far as your favorites, 77% chance, that's pretty good. Obviously, there's no guarantee on these numbers, but just basically talk about the likelihood of players going over or under a particular number. So, check out the banner at the top of any RotoGrinders page in our description for more information on that. Other pitchers, and if we haven't mentioned anybody, for starters, if we haven't mentioned a pitcher yet, it doesn't mean they're like bad. There's a whole chunk of pitchers. I was trying to count them, Bobby. 18, you probably can roster like maybe 18, possibly 19 guys on this slate. You shouldn't, I don't think. You probably want to get a little more condensed than that. But if you want to argue 18 different pitchers, tell me the ones like it's just like there's no chance. There's no chance we're going to roster this guy. I have a billion lineups. Doesn't matter. We're not rostering who.
Oh, so guys, I'm definitely not rostering. Oof. Jack Flaherty, not playing him. Maybe I should have more. I don't. In terms of who I'm not going to play,
yeah,
right, I get him.
Chase Anderson.
I'm not playing Bailey over. You don't like Peterson?
I'm okay with him. Like if you need the savings, you have an expensive stack.
You think I should be playing Eflin? I'm not playing Eflin versus Baltimore.
I don't need it.
What are we talking about? Like you just don't. You're not playing these guys at all, or I'm just not playing them.
Not even specific to you, just like in general.
Okay.
Like how many? I'm saying if you're going to make a pool of like if you're writing content, right?
Yeah.
And there are 26 pitchers that are throwing baseballs today. If you want to make an argument for like 18 of these guys, I can hear you out. I'm just saying like most of these pitchers are at least playable to various degrees of playable. But like what you're doing is you have a pool that you're whittling down.
I'm not playing Greinke. I'm not playing Newcomb. I'm not playing Anderson. I'm not playing Wade Miley. Yeah, I don't know. Like people would say not to play PFAP, but I think PFAP's a good play. Like 25% versus righties. I think that's fine. John Gray, I'm probably not going to play. Haven't had much luck there. Jake Irvin, probably not playing.
No.
What are your thoughts on Jake Irvin?
It just seems totally unnecessary. Like he's cheap, but that's like the nicest thing you could say about him. Yelich is back, by the way. Just a heads up there. Yelich back from Milwaukee. He was dealing with, I believe, was back. Lineup looks better for Milwaukee. Yelich, Contreras, Santana, Frelick, Adames, Kana, Rowdy, Tellez, Terang, and Monasterio, who's sometimes been leading off, but against the righty here today with Yelich back, he is in the 9-hole. But yeah, I got nothing really. Irvin just seems so unnecessary. Yeah, he's not going to be my pool, but I don't make a ton of lineups.
Yeah, he's not in mine either.
Trying to see if anybody in chat has thrown anybody out that we have missed. By the way, that number on Kirby was 94.5 as far as his pitches. I think I said 93.5. It's actually higher than I anticipated. So maybe the under is a pretty sharp bet there.
I'm not paying up for pitching tonight. Like Steele's probably too much for me on the slate. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not going over 10K at pitcher because I want to get these bats. I'm not going to Nola either. You said it about Nola, like he struggles on the road. So yeah, Steele and Nola are both X's for me in terms of my player pool currently.
Mr. Richard in chat says he's cut his pool down to 13. Yeah, it's just tough. Cut it down to 13 and no Nola and no F1 because they're, like you said, they're just too expensive. And
I know, I'm definitely playing Canning. I'm definitely playing Hunter Green. I'm now definitely playing Javier. I'm definitely playing Skubal. I'm definitely playing Bello. Like those five. That's like my pool. That's where I'm at. Logan Webb 6. So yeah, that's who I'm pitching.
Dean, we got a question in Discord. Amateur Hour wants to know: can you guys talk cheap pitchers for DK single entry tournaments, especially Pinto versus Martin Maldonado? I think that's what they said.
Pinto, who's
no? He's talking about catcher Pinto for Tampa Bay. Yeah, I like Pinto over Maldonado.
I mean, catchers keep cheap catchers. Typo there. It's all good.
Yeah, no worries. I was thinking about like Greinke versus Maldonado. Like I'm not playing Greinke, and I don't mind Maldonado as a cheapie as far as a Houston stack. Did you put much thought into Pinto today? I have not.
I don't know. I think he's a bit. I think didn't he hit a home run like last night or 2 nights ago? He's been hot. I like Pinto. Maldonado obviously makes sense. I just had to I just said who I liked better. That was the question.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just don't. You answer it with confidence, and I don't have confidence, and they both stink. Is sort of my answer, and like flip a coin. They're both probably going to be bad. Is just kind of my answer. So like I don't know. Like they're, but if you feel like Pinto's good or is well positioned tonight, by all means, I'm not gonna cut you off. If that's your sales pitch. In a small sample, this season, let's see, 58 plate appearances. Why do I have the ground balls up? I want to see. I got to switch something here as far as my plate IQ, but he's hit a fair bit of fly balls. So I'll give him that, and hit the ball pretty hard as well versus righties. I do not like righty power. It's a general thought in Baltimore, just because down that left field line, it's tough. It's one of the toughest left field lines to homer off of. Get the ball out of the park since they reconfigured Camden. So just and obviously KC's not.
Can I switch my pick now, Dean, to Maldonado? Because you're right. It's Maldonado, not Pinto. I know you wanted me to say it. I like Pinto though for GPPs. I have no interest. I have no issue if he hit.
Do you like Tampa just in general? I'm kind of indifferent to them.
They haven't been as good recently, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have any deep thoughts as far as Tampa today. They're just, but like the hitting, and we'll get to it in a second, but the hitting is very similar to the pitching in that, there's a couple of pitchers that might stand out, a couple of pitchers, hitters, hitting stacks that stand out, San Fran, Houston, maybe Minnesota. But after that, it's like there's like one of 12 teams if you want to argue is like the next best team. Okay, sure. I'm not going to say you're wrong. They're all kind of sort of somewhat the same. Justin Steele, like pitching for the Cy Young, he's you can get about plus 260 behind. I guess the Snell line must have really moved after he dominated the Dodgers. He's now a minus 350 favorite. I want to say he's given up like 11 earned runs in his last 12 starts or something like that. And it's completely insane because his left on base percentage is like 90%. I guess there's some skill in that, but it's wild. The high wire act that guy does every single game, but he keeps doing it. He can't keep getting away with this. That's what Jesse said, but apparently he is, and he's still doing it. He's probably going to win the Cy Young as well. So good for him. A few more questions in chat. We'll get the overview. Are we getting Dean's limp dogs and dongs today? Hopefully not. Hopefully they're not limp today, but they have been of late. So we will concede.
Someone asked about Zach Thompson, Dean. Do you have any thoughts on Zach Thompson? Because I think he's fine as a saver.
I'll tell you that Dave's going to be on. Cheese is good, and he liked him a bit in the musings. And
there you go.
Dave's pretty sharp. I'll give you a sneak peek. He actually has a consensus value rankings. Is the only one amongst myself, SDL Cardinals, who's a Cardinals fan, Tasteful Tides, Tim, and Cheese is Good. The only one to rank Zach Thompson. We rank him dollar per dollar, so like cheapies will get ranked on the board. He put him 8th, and I don't think he's got Peterson ranked too. So like he's going to be playing both those guys. I was thinking like an interesting pivot away from Peterson. It's going to be a little bit more expensive, a little bit more owned. But I don't feel great about it. But again, can you play him?
Peterson at 3. Sure. Everyone was killing me for the Peterson take. He has him at 3.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's that Cincinnati lineup's not great. The ballpark's pretty good, and you got to save some salary. Bobby, you probably heard this before, but we live in the world of a salary cap, right? You got to save some money somewhere, and that's
salary cap. We live in the world of a salary cap.
Well, it's like an echo. Did you hear an echo? Is that just me?
I heard an echo. Bobby? Yeah, it was a good echo though. Haven't heard that one before.
We should mention, by the way, if you're just joining us, hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Do all the things. Hit all the buttons. We mentioned Dave's going to be on for crunch time at about 6:15 or so. Kevin Roth as well, taking you up to lock. We're also producer Devin was showing off some of our fabulous tools, some of our fabulous baseball tools that are in the show. They're on the screen. You can get free access to that. 1 week free of RG Premium. And not just baseball. It's also football season. It's college football season. It's golf season. It's CSGO season. All of it. You get access to everything, the tools, the buttons, the bells, the whistles, the optimizer, everything you want, the articles, videos. You get the Blitz show, which will be on tomorrow. All the goods. How do you get that? You just go to the RotoGrinders Discord, rotogrinders.com/Discord. Go to the live stream chat channel, put a number between 1 and 200 in there, and the closest to the pin without going over, Price is Right rules, will get themselves a week free. And we determined, don't be gutless and put like 50 or 60 or 70. Bobby, you got to be ambitious, like 130, 140. People are too scared to put those high numbers because the Price is Right, but you're probably going to lose anyway. So go.
Did you ever give out the week one that you offered on Twitter last week for NFL?
So there was one where like nobody was even close, and I'm like, you know what? I can't give it to anybody. So I'm like, let's just run it back. And you know what it is? I think you told me I'm going to do on Sunday morning. We're going to give away 2 weeks. 2 weeks. We're going to add an extra week. That's what we'll do.
Okay.
But I ran it back also for the Jets game, the opening Jets versus the Bills. And somebody said that this will be the last game Aaron Rodgers plays for the Jets. And I'm like, okay, I guess I got to award that person.
Wait, someone said that on the.
Yes.
Yeah, they win, right? They win.
Well,
for
somebody
the year.
Yeah, I mean, I apparently I saw a clip that he's talking about.
Was that time stamped, or was someone pulling?
Oh no, they weren't pulling my leg.
I think I might have seen that too.
Unless I fell for it, it's possible. But and somebody else said that the backup quarterback will be optimal. I don't know if Wilson was optimal, but I thought Rodgers out for the season is more ambitious than Wilson will be optimal. I don't know which one.
Did Siege win Thursday
night? I don't think it was. He's still getting credit for that, isn't he? I didn't see who won, but I don't believe. I feel like I would have seen a screenshot somewhere on my Twitter. But that was a pretty good. It's a 1-game sample, and I'm like, here's the thing. And people are so unambitious. Like, listen, it's a 1-game sample. You got to be very specific. You got to be accurate. Like, you can't just tell me like this guy's going to score a touchdown. Like, that's not ambitious enough. It's 1 game, right?
Yeah.
So that was pretty bold. That was a bold call, and not that we're sitting here rooting for people to get injured, but that was a pretty impressive.
Seems like
call.
You are kind of.
No. Well, I actually said quite the opposite, and I said I hope nobody gets hurt, and people were still mad at me. But all right. Alan wants to know how chalky the Giants are going to be. We'll talk about hitters in just a second. In about 5-10 minutes or so, we're going to pull up. We're going to do the giveaway. Devin's going to jump in.
We already kind of hit on this, though. The Giants aren't going to be as chalky as we originally thought, right? Didn't we hit on that in the beginning of the show?
Devin was talking about Slate IQ, and this stuff is ever evolving. I'm not sure when. Maybe you can jump in here at some point when the Slate IQ was updated, if it's been updated. Obviously, the closer to the lock we get, the more refined, the more accurate those numbers get. Devin, you have anything as far as specific to the Giants, how popular we're expecting them to be?
Well, I'm seeing 15% and lower on DK as the highest owned batter. But what I was, just to clarify, what I was looking at was the DK opto percentage for top MLB stacks. I've been told that's a little bit more stable information, just because with Slate IQ, a pitcher gets scratched and suddenly the slate's a little bit different, right? So this is a little. I've kind of started using this one a little bit more, and what it was showing was that San Francisco is a little bit over-owned compared to the opto percentage.
Over-owned. Okay.
San Fran and Houston, correct.
Okay. Somebody was asking about umpire data. I'll give the same speech I always give when there's a whole bunch of new series. The umpire stuff is possible, not guaranteed, but certainly can change in a new series. But as of right now, we have a lot of extreme spots. Here we go. Extreme hitters umpire for Christian Javier, Brian Bayo, Schlattens, Bailey Ober, Zach Greinke, Jose Barrios. We have a couple of extreme pitcher spots as well. Extreme pitcher for Giolito. He can use it. He can definitely use it. That, like, some of this stuff, I think it matters for some pitchers a little less or much less than others. I would just say Giolito can use the corners for sure. Extreme pitchers umpire for Giolito, Jack Flaherty, John Gray, and Zach Eflin. How much do you care about that stuff, Bobby? Is that just like tiebreakers, if anything else?
Tiebreakers with the EP, yeah. Giolito having the EP isn't bad for Giolito, right? Like with the walk issues, I still just don't want to. I think I'd still if I had to pick between him and Green, I still think I'm going to pay up for Green ahead of Giolito.
Fair enough. Giolito's walks actually aren't as bad as I thought. 8.6. It's not good, but it's not completely horrendous. Green at 10.8%, Flaherty 10.6%, Peterson at 10%. Those who are. Well, I was going to say Newcomb, but the sample is so small, just 12 innings, 13.6%. But he also has a 34% K rate, but I'm not buying any of that because the sample, again, for the season, he's barely pitched. Do you want to give me the summary as far as pitchers? It's a tough summary to give because there's so much that's okay.
I'm going to try to – I have 7 pitchers now.
Okay.
I kind of already went over them, but Skubal, Green, Logan Webb. This isn't in any particular order. Griffin Canning, Brian Bello, PFAT, and I'm going to go with Thompson. I think Thompson in St. Louis isn't the worst. Did I just give 8? Means he would probably count that out, and I probably went over. He's been killing me on that because I keep doing the CVR on my phone and going over because it's just hard to.
What are you doing? You're giving too many stacks, or you're giving too many actual players each position? Yeah. So if it's 10 or more games, you want to give 4 catchers, 8 hitters, or you're giving 9. Is that what you're doing?
No, this is for NFL, not for MLB. I'm not on CVR for.
Oh, okay. My bad. Never mind. And it also throws me off because it doesn't have your name on there. It says Fantasy Bros. And I'm like, it takes me a second. But that's
I know.
That's
We got to get that fixed. Just put my name on there. Yeah.
Well, tell Devin. Is Devin still listening? Maybe he knows a guy.
He's supposed to be the producer. I would hope. Unless the cat's.
No, I'm not listening. She did literally she just jumped up and was like going for my headphones.
Not Devin's department.
No.
We got to get Bobby's screen name changed on the site because it says Fantasy Bros. Do people know that you're Fantasy Bros?
I don't know if they know that. Yeah.
Yeah. It took me a second. I'm like, oh, isn't Bobby Fantasy Bros?
I think I know some people to talk to.
You got a guy?
Right. I think I got a guy.
All right. Fair enough. And you said that amongst the pitchers you ran off, who's the one you're going to have the most of compared to the field?
Ooh, Bello.
Well, yeah, he's going to be like 2% owned, right?
He's going to be like 2% owned. You asked, yeah.
And you're going to have what are you running today? What's the plan? Are we hitting the 15?
I'm running 150, but I'm probably just going to play 10.
Yeah, you're going to pick and choose like your 10 favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about stacks. Let's tell the people what our current stack rankings are. Again, this is myself. This is Tim. SDL cards, Dave Potts, CheeseIsGood. He'll be on like 15, 20 minutes or so. Clarify this stuff even further. Consensus-wise, it's very, very clear that we all like Houston more than San Fran, which is kind of interesting just because San Fran's got a higher team total there in cores. But we got Houston at 1. The average is 1 because we all put them at 1. Wait a second. I'm looking at Yordan Alvarez. Bad job by me. I was looking at outfielders. Okay, Houston's 2, and they're actually tied. They're both at 1.5. So 2 people gave the Giants 1, Houston 2, and vice versa for the other 2. So we're split. But suffice to say, San Fran and Houston kind of in their own little world as the top 2 teams on the board. Then Minnesota, no surprise there. San Diego, despite being gutless allegedly. Milwaukee, Toronto, the Cubs. And I did put the Mets. I don't feel great about it, but I didn't really know who to put at 5. I didn't know who to really put it. I was kind of stumped, frankly.
No one ranks Kansas City. I like Kansas City.
Nobody ranked Kansas City. Yeah. Well, you came into the show not liking Christian Javier as well.
I often put Kansas City.
Is it the Weather Edge that's popping for you? It's Javier.
Yeah, I love Weather. Weather Edge is a great tool. Great tool.
I will say you don't see very often a 10.5 total in KC. Like obviously 6 of that goes to Houston. It is a Zach Greinke revenge game too, right? Wasn't he once upon a time pretty good in Houston? Is that where he won his?
I think every game at this point is a Greinke revenge game.
Well, how many has he played for? A lot of teams.
He's played for a lot of teams in the last couple of years. The Diamondbacks, the Mariners, KC.
Yeah, that's right.
Has he played for more than that? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, KC's where he played the longest. He started his career there. But yeah, Arizona, I forgot
for
about.
Houston. He did play for. I mean, yeah, he played for Houston, and I don't remember when he played for Houston, but
he was a Dodger in 2013 for 3. He was pretty good. He had 15.
He was pretty good as a Dodger. Yeah.
Yeah. Forgot that happened. Yeah.
How old is Greinke? I think Greinke was like a top prospect in the league when I was in high school, like my senior year in high school.
He's a really fascinating dude, and he almost stopped playing baseball because of anxiety. I don't. Yeah, he's really interesting, and he didn't like to talk, and people thought he was not a good teammate or whatever. His teammates didn't understand him. So he's got a really interesting story. Go down
I've heard it. I've heard it before. You're right.
Go down the YouTube rabbit hole on Greinke's career. It's pretty interesting. And 39 years old. All right. So, but you know what? I was playing Price is Right rules, and I was being just a little bit conservative. I didn't want to go over and say 40. I thought he might be 39, but just in case I said 38. We didn't bank it. We didn't win both showcase showdowns, but somebody can win a week free of RG Premium. Devin, are we doing it now? Are we good to go now?
Yeah, we're going to do it now. Quick shout out to all of our real. You can tell we have a DFS crew in our Discord. The way they know. All right, I got 3 minutes until this thing starts. I'm going to wait until the last guesses get thrown in, and then I'm going to pick. I can tell. I see what you guys are doing in there.
And you one up somebody.
Yeah. There's so much sniping going on. Before we dive into this, WM Dude wants to know, they're playing a $5 single entry DK, and they have a KC stack. For last piece, would you rather Nimmo or Yastrzemski? Yastrzemski's better matchup, obviously, but worried about pinch hit risk.
I'll just say that Nimmo is showing some good power this year, and Hunter Green has given up a lot of fly balls and a lot of homers in his career, more so in Cincinnati. I like them both. I want to see what the pinch hit risk is for Yastrzemski. He's leading off, and if he sticks around, right, he's got super well positioned for 5 ABs in Coors Field, which is just a huge edge on the field. I'm curious your thoughts here as I pull up. I meant to pull up the bullpen for Colorado.
I would probably lean Nimmo, but I feel the same as Dean. Like, I don't mind Yastrzemski either. Casey's a little off the board, and Yastrzemski's a little chalkier. So if you're playing Yastrzemski, maybe in like a chalk pitcher combination, maybe you stick with Kansas City if it's not a chalky pitcher combination. If you're playing a chalk pitcher combination, maybe you go away from Yastrzemski and play Nimmo. If you're not playing a chalk pitcher, if you are playing a chalk, what am I trying to say? If you're not playing a chalk pitcher, I just can't think about it in my head. If you're not playing a chalk pitcher combination, play Yastrzemski. If you are playing Nimmo,
play wherever you want. Play wherever you want.
Play wherever you want. Yeah.
I did see that the Colorado bullpen has been pretty bad against lefties this year. So
yeah, I mean,
plus he has
just bad in general. But yeah, they have 2 lefties in that pen, Brent Suter and Evan Justice, and neither have worked since, let's see, the 10th for Suter, and Justice has not pitched since the 9th. So both are well rested. I don't know if Justice has pitched much this entire season, but probably in the minor leagues or something like that. I'm not certain. I don't know all the names in the Colorado pen. Just not a name look familiar, but he's lurking. He's there, but I don't know. And Colorado, how much do they even care about doing lefty righty stuff at this point in the season? Like, do they even care about when? What? They're not prioritizing that stuff, but maybe they'll do it. I'm curious what Cardi has. I'll check it in a second. I'll actually check what he has as far as the pinch hit stuff for San Fran as Devin. No more bets, Devin. We're locking them out.
We're locked. We're locked. All right, let's get our first winner here. Going forward.
Wait, you say first? We're giving away 2?
We're giving away 2, Dean. Yes, this was.
Look at you.
This is the Friday routine. We want to give everybody an opportunity to test out RG Premium during the NFL season. So first winner goes to number 166.
Yes, reward ambition. That's what I want.
And while we're pulling, after I get this one, all right, without going over, closest one, double M squared, 2-2.
It's actually Darth Gator, right?
169 Darth Gator. So they went just a little over. Yeah. But while we're here, quick shout out to eMoneybags 85 who took 199. So we'll see if that one works out. Yeah, definitely respect. It's a bold move, Cotton. All right, let's make that a winner. Let's go ahead and get another number.
I want to give that guy premium just for doing that. But
just for doing that.
I respect the ambition.
All right. 62 is the second winner.
I see Chalk Donkey is going to win this one.
WMU Dude 24, who is one of our sneaky players. So victory goes to the one who waited till the end.
Oh, he sniped? He sniped somebody?
I don't know. I don't think they. Oh, yes, they did actually snipe somebody. Yeah, they sniped 3 people.
And we're awarding this behavior. Just to be clear, we're awarding this behavior.
Price is Right rules. It's not popular in some areas of Discord, but maybe we'll have another game next week. We'll figure it out.
Prison rules.
I'll reach out to our winners in Discord. Thanks for playing, everybody.
Congratulations! I did get a chance to pull up the bat. Derek Carty's the bat supports Derek Carty. If you like the bat, you'll love the Blitz. The Blitz also going down for football. Blitz show tomorrow. Hey, the 2 winners, you guys can watch the Blitz show tomorrow. I believe we heard Blender's voice earlier. I heard him earlier in the day say he's going to be on the Blitz show, so he'll be subbing in for somebody on the Blitz show tomorrow. Not Carty. Yastrzemski, 19% pinch hit risk for what it's worth. The Second highest number on the Rockies, 21% for Brandon Crawford. Lamont Wade at 16%. So, there's some apprehension, but I wouldn't just completely X out Yastrzemski as much as I typically would. What is your approach here as far as San Fran in general?
Yeah, I'm probably going to be under the field, but I think I'm going to play them as like 3-mans more than 5s. So I'm not completely Xing San Fran because they're chalky. I'm just playing them differently.
Let's see. We just got a Seattle lineup: Crawford, J-Rod, Cal Raleigh, Hernandez, Suarez, Kelnick, France, Canzone, and Josh Rojas. Still waiting for the Dodgers, waiting for the Padres, Angels. Spoiler, it's going to be bad. Detroit, Arizona, the Cubbies. Those are all late. I think we got everything else before 8:40. We do. Any questions if you have regarding the slate, by all means, fire it off. We're here the next 10 minutes or so until we yield to crunch time. You have Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth, Dave Potts. Do want to double check, but I'm pretty sure there's nothing going on weather-wise. If you're asking questions in chat, prioritize or give us the details. Let us know if it's on Fanduel or Draftkings, if it's for cash or for tournaments, if it's a large field tournament, if it's like a single entry, 3-entry max. We give out the ownership stuff, and that's just understand that number is for a large field. And if you're playing something that's popular, it's reasonably popular, it's going to be jumping up ownership-wise in the single entry stuff, in the 3-entry max stuff, in cash as well. But who cares about ownership in cash?
They're wondering about. They have some interesting questions in the chat currently. Very interesting.
Can you repeat them, or I can't repeat them? But
I don't know. There's one that's on the line there. I guess you can. Yes,
who is the cash FanDuel pitcher to build around? That's what Jerry is asking, and that's not the question I assume you're alluding to. What a tricky question, because I don't think there's a definitive answer. I think there's a couple you can consider. I'm pulling up our FanDuel stuff now, and I think it's, I can pull up our consensus rankings, which I did earlier. Same group of people did it earlier. Tasteful Tides, Cards, and Dave. I think Scooball was number 1. He was consensus-wise. Scooball, Canning, Lugo. I think it's one of those 3. What does our ownership say? I feel pretty confident it's one of those 3.
Cheese, interesting, likes Peterson. Going back to that, just saying.
We've got him 5th. Yeah, but I'm going to guess. I don't want to speak for Cheese, but I'm going to guess he wouldn't say to play Peterson in cash games on FanDuel. But on tournaments,
FanDuel, I thought it was DK. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. 19% for Canning. Scooball's getting 15%. Green at 12. I wouldn't play Green in cash. Wouldn't do that. You don't have to finish first in your cash games. You just got to finish faster than, what is it? You don't have to be faster than the bear. You just got to be faster than all half people running away from the bear. I guess we can do it that way. Sure.
Yeah.
Or the cat. I guess we can say the cat's coming for your eyes.
The cat's fast though, right? Kevin's in trouble.
But I'm told it's only when you're no longer alive that the cat is all of a sudden okay. Now
I have to tell them every once in a while. They like I said, they'll go start licking my eyelids, and I just say, guys, no, let it work a little longer. It's not done yet. Gotta keep baking.
I would kick those cats right out of my house. They would not be in my house.
That's a bold strategy. They go right for the eyelids. Do they they work their way up, or that's their first move?
No, they work their way up. They act all sweet. They'll put the paws out, kind of walk their way up my chest, and then it's just like stretch, put it right on my eyeball.
All right.
Let's just say you got to keep the nails clipped.
Oh,
yeah. That's when things get really rough.
Jose's asking, who do you play in cash, Fott or Peterson? If you're down to one of those two, I would say it's 100% Peterson over Fott. Would you agree with that?
I agree with that 100%.
Derek wants to know if Devin is rocking some long hair.
I am, long hair, as a matter of fact. Yeah, hang on. When I wake up now, I look like Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, look.
Are you going?
How long has it been?
Look.
Not really. No, it's just whenever I shower and then I go to bed, I wake up the next day and it looks like I've got a salon look going on. I don't know how long I want to go, Dean. It's long enough to put up, which is really when it's most comfortable, because that gray area, just letting it float in your eyes, is just the worst.
Yeah. I've never had it that long before. Have you ever had long hair before, Bobby?
Yes, I have.
How long?
Dude, long.
What? Longer than Devin's?
Yeah.
Is this on the internet? Can I Google
It
Bobby
is on the
Gomes?
internet. Let's not pull this picture up.
Is
All
it
right,
bad?
I'll hear it. I'll hear it.
Oh yeah, it's bad. It's probably as bad as it could get. Yeah.
No. So the
In a
other
place
day,
where it would be as bad as it can get. Yeah.
what do you mean in a place? Wait,
It's on a specific site that's actually pretty famous.
Oh, okay. All right. I see where you're going with it. I thought you were going in a different direction.
I'm going a couple different ways in my head, and I don't know which site it's on. It's probably it's none of my business. But
It was
all wrong, Dean.
When it was in ESPN the magazine.
oh, I was in a totally different direction.
Yeah. They're clamoring for your dongs, Dean. So are we giving out home run picks?
We got to get those, Dean.
Oh yeah, we usually like to put them in the chat for as crunch time is going on. But we can certainly fire off one or two for the people and get the old beak wet, I suppose. Let's see. Do you have any gimmick homers for the people just yet?
I don't, but I know you want me to kill some time, so I'm gonna.
Yes.
Look now.
Oh, you know what? I was gonna call him yesterday. Let's double down.
I think I'm really bad at these, to be perfectly honest.
It's tough. Like it's just genuinely hard to do. You're not supposed to get these right. Like it's funny. I'll read the comments. When Grant puts out the tweet, and I can't. What are they called? The Grant's bombs, turd bombs. I don't know if he's still turd bombs anymore. But people love the comment on his like, oh, this guy missed he made 1 of 3. Like 1 of 3 is good. You understand how math works?
1 of 3 is like very good.
Yeah, like if you're 1 of 3 every single day, you are making a lot of money. It's a print fest, and like this guy, he missed the last 2 days. Like you're gonna miss the last 2 days. This is not me defending the dongs being limp in the last several days. That's just how math works. It's hard.
It's kind of you defending the limp dong.
No. I'm defending Grant and everybody. That's like I think the people that comment and say, "Oh, this guy hasn't had a winner in 3 days," they don't understand math and sample size. The point is, I'm going to go back to Royce Lewis. Royce Lewis is one of the best hitters in all of baseball for the last month. Ever since coming back from his injury, that will be the first dong on the board against Jesse Schlattens there in Chicago. Who else do I want to throw into the conversation? I was digging into Trey Turner today, who's been also incredible of late. 16 homers since last maybe 40, 45 days or so. Remember how he got a sputtered out of the box? They had him hitting like 6th or 7th at some point in the season, which is pretty weird. He was really buried in that lineup, but he's been awesome of late. He's actually tied with Schwarber in home runs over that period of time I was kind of looking at. Maybe it was like 40 or 45 days or so. I'll say Trey Turner as the second one. And then we'll give one more into the chat as crunch time is coming on. We got to bounce back the dongs. We got to get one of these to hits. 1 out of 3 is good. And did I give you time to think of one, or you're just not even going to play along today? Is that what I was hearing?
No, I'm playing along. Kyle Tucker, he's my favorite to hit a home run. I'll just take the chalk. And then, if I'm going down the board to not be as gutless, I'm going to go Michael Conforto. Well, I guess that's still gutless. No, I'm not going to do that. I'll go Nelson Velasquez. Yeah.
I'll pick an ambitious one. I'll go ambitious in my third homer. San Diego lineup just dropped. It's Kim leading off, Tatis, Soto, Machado, Bogarts, Campusano. Oh, Cooper's in there. Cooper's pretty cheap. Battens and Azokar. Who's it? Trent Grisham is not in the lineup. Left on left.
To go to Grisham, huh?
No. It was just I like to sort of like when I see the lineup drop and it's like it's not easy to do on the fly. Again, this is not me complimenting myself, but just when you're like, oh wow, who's in and who's out, what's different, and you got like 3 seconds to figure it out, and that's like okay, Azokar.
You did it again. I'm not complimenting myself, but I really am complimenting myself.
Well, it's only because you questioned it. Like if I didn't question it, I would have just moved on. And some people noticed subtly. Oh wow, that was pretty good. He actually knew who was in and who was out. That's kind of goofy.
I'll throw Tatis. I'll throw Tatis as my home run call. I just wanted to drop that in.
Give me something off the board, Devin.
Bobby
what do you
can say Velasquez correctly, but he still can't say Acunin. What?
I don't know if Robbie needs to spell Acuna better.
Yeah, I think you need to spell Acuna correct.
Let's see. How about off the board? Is Stephen Kwan off the board?
Yeah, he's not going to homer. He never homers.
He's not going to homer. You have a better chance of homering.
Garrett Cooper. How about that?
You might get an inside the Parker from Quan. I like the Cooper call. That's a good call. It sounds like Devin.
Stack Houston.
Devin, you are playing. If I'm hearing you correctly, it sounds like you're playing some Padres.
I think I'm going to be playing some Padres, Dean.
You know, it's funny. I remember it was a week or two ago where Roth was giving. I don't want to say he was giving him a hard time, but the whole thing of Cardi and Roth. I don't know if you were listening or not, Devin. I don't think you were producing that day. But apparently, the way Roth says the word tournament. No, not Roth. Cardi. The way Cardi says tournament. I guess he's got a kind of a Jersey accent to it. But many people have pointed that out for me as well, and they're kind of mocking that in chats. Do I say that word strangely to you, Devin? Tournament?
Tournament? You occasionally you'll drop a tournament, yeah. And actually, I think I was pronouncing, or I was producing that day. I was producing that day because I remember saying that Cardiism. My favorite one is Warder, a watered down lineup. Also, Michael Dampier in chat, literally just on point in chat. Everyone play Quan. That's the mush play of the day.
Okay, Quan's homer odds today are probably like 13-1 or something egregious. I'm gonna pull them up now.
I'm
gonna go ahead and do that real quick.
Hold on a second. Let's pull them up. Let's see the homer odds. He never unless you think like the two outfielders are gonna collide or something. He's got speed, and then he legs out a homer inside the Parker. But
just keep digging that hole, Dean. Just keep digging that hole.
Track and it can Canseco someone off the head.
Is that Canseco's like greatest moment?
It must be, right? It's terrible. That's what he's.
It is spectacular. So you can get Quan the homer today at plus 1,500 at Bet365, plus 870 Fanduel 11. Yeah, so he's not going to homer. Like if Quan homers, then I will tell you that the mush is 100% real. I will concede if Stephen Quan hits a homer, a ball that goes over the fence. Now I should be specific, not an inside the Parker. That's just goofy stuff.
This is clip worthy right here. I hope everybody in chat's listening right now because we just got it on tape that Dean will admit about the mush being real if we have this one hit.
Dave, is Stephen Kwan going to homer today?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I mean, like, why would you yell at Devin for coming up with a super contrarian, interesting play that no one would ever think of? And you're like, just let him have it.
No, it's too far off the board. Come on.
I mean, be a little bit sane.
Pull it back a little bit.
I directed him to do something goofy.
Of that call, not because he's going to hit a home run. I just think it's a fantastic call.
There we go.
Yeah, it's a bad job by me. He followed the rules, and then I yelled at him for following the rules.
Exactly, that is what happened.
That's just how that goes sometimes. Hey, Dave, I heard you today. You guys talk baseball in a second, obviously, but I heard you today with Blender earlier on the repackaged Blender show, and I caught a little bit of it. And you said that obviously writing the musings 5 days a week, you're super busy. It takes a lot of your time. I guess you're backed up on some shows. You said October is a big month for you to watch shows. What do you have waiting? What do you have waiting for you? Is there a whole list? Have you go in just yet?
Yeah, there's a list, and there's some things I haven't finished, and then there's some things. So I haven't gotten Paramount yet, so I'm going to get Paramount. There's a couple shows on there I want to watch. Rabbit Hole and Tulsa King are on my list from that, and I don't know what else is on
Sutherland
there.
And Sly Stallone.
Yeah, so Rabbit Hole. I watched the first episode on a plane, like it was one of those short plane rides, and it was like it was awesome. So I don't know what's going to happen next. So I actually, you'll appreciate this. I actually have not finished Barry yet. Like I wanted to wait and just be able to watch a whole bunch of episodes at once and get to the end. So that's actually the first thing I want to do that first week of October.
And you've managed to avoid all spoilers?
Yes.
All right. So whatever you do not, this is not me reverse mushing it. Do not tweet any spoilers today. Insta ban.
Yeah. But I am absolutely taking suggestions for shows that you think I should watch. And I'm open to almost anything. Like sometimes I don't think something sounds like my thing. And if a bunch of people say it's great, it's probably going to be great.
All right. Well,
and yes, Bobby. Succession. So I actually haven't finished Succession. I've avoided the spoilers there. That's
impressive. Just avoiding the spoilers for Succession.
Yeah.
I think Bobby, you got on Succession this last year. You caught all the way up, right?
Yeah, I watched it in like a week. It was very good.
That's so fast. What's the most amount of episodes you watched in a day? Like 7 or 8?
Yeah, a bunch. A lot.
Was your brain like broken at the end?
I think I had my kid and I just was watching it, and yeah.
Gonna bring in Roth. Roth, it seemed like you're having a little bit of a. Are we good to go? Is Roth good to go?
No, I'm good. What's up?
Okay, I thought I saw you like having.
He's just taking notes about what shows to watch.
I literally just wrote down a show. Yeah, I just wrote down Rabbit Hole. So
there's already some good things in the chat. Yeah, Sneaky Pete was sneaky good. I agree.
I heard Sneaky Pete was very, very good.
It's a lot of fun. The first episode or two you got to get past, and it doesn't really kick in. But yeah, I watched that several years ago on Amazon, and it's actually very good, shockingly good. I would stick with it if you don't love it after the first episode or two because it kind of changes. But yeah, I didn't see the chat saying that, but I can vouch for Sneaky Pete as well. And I'm with you, Roth. I'm gonna watch Rabbit Hole as well. I'm gonna take Dave's recommendation and put it on the list.
And to be fair, Dave, Cheese has only seen one episode.
I've seen one.
It's
episode.
not as if
right.
It's not as if he's endorsing the show, but if he's intrigued, I'll be intrigued. So
yeah, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, he added the qualifier though. Yeah, if episode 2 stinks, I'm not coming at him.
Right.
But I like a good pilot. You give me a good pilot, I'm interested. I'm on board. I'll stick around. And it's probably only like 8 episodes or 10 episodes, so the time commitment's not too bad. But you got anything else, chat? Let them know. Dave is open to your suggestions. Roth, happy Friday. How are things in your world?
Things are good. I was going to say exactly that. Is like Cheese is looking for recommendations. I am as well. So if you've got some good shows, drop them in here, and we'll kind of pop them up if we can. We'll throw things, maybe.
While we're talking recommendations, no one has paid me to say this or even nudged me to say this. I'm just saying it out of the truth that is in my heart. Bobby Gomes is my favorite NFL analyst. For some reason, just the way you just go about saying what you're doing and why you're doing that, it's perfect. So
there you go.
And looking for football shows to watch. Those are actually my first.
Cheese. I appreciate coming from you. That's awesome. Yeah. I appreciate that.
Roth is right here, Dave. I mean, it's going to be awkward the rest of the show. We're going to be gone in a second. It's just going to be the two of you, and that's going to be sitting in his brain the whole time.
So
did Roth think that he is my favorite football analyst? Should I ask Roth? Are you offended by that?
Yeah, massively, Dave.
Hey, Bobby, where can we catch your NFL content? I know I've heard you're a part of a show called The People's Show.
The People's Show. Someone made a People's Show comment, and they were calling you the man of the people. So it's just fitting at this point, right?
Devin, if he has a second to put it up, he made a graphic. And if you're old enough, remember the People's Court. And I'm sure Dave will appreciate this.
Oh, wow.
But and I got Judge Wapner. Somehow Devin was kind enough to give me Wapner. But maybe Devin will throw it up on the screen for the people. But, Bobby, where can people find your football content, especially on a Sunday when we have all the news?
9:30 a.m. Grinders Live.
Who else is on that show? Out of curiosity.
Look at this.
That's pretty fantastic.
Well
How
done.
many people
Devin?
don't even know that's referencing?
Like
does
yeah.
I don't know what it's referencing either, but
it's like
Devin
People's
and
Court,
Dean,
right?
Yeah.
I know what it is.
Yeah, I figured it out through context clues, but really no.
By the way, we ran a poll earlier in the show. Cats or dogs? Cats or dogs? Dogs with a chalk, and the chat's
I will
got
tell you
70.
guys, this dog, I got a new dog 3 days ago. It's right here, and so far it's so well behaved. I doubt you'll even hear from it.
What?
Amazing.
That's good.
What's its name?
So, well, we don't know. We got it. Its name is Lizzie, but our daughter doesn't really like the name Lizzie, so it's in flux. We'll also take recommendations on that. It's she's a golden doodle, 29 pounds. It's full grown, kind of a mid-sized golden doodle.
What about Sneaky Pete for the dog's name?
I don't know.
It was overwhelming. Yeah. Right.
That wasn't supposed to be that loud.
I wasn't sure. I thought I had a page that was open. And I'm like, what page do I have open with that?
Yeah,
no
originally I was like, that's if that's me. Oh my goodness, what did I do?
Congrats
Bobby,
on the new
anything
dog,
else?
Cheese.
Yeah.
That's it, Dean.
Congratulations.
Ready to get out of here. Good talking to you, Cheese. Good talking to you, Roth. Good luck tonight.
Later, bud.
All right, we're done. We're going to talk about the Fanduel sponsor Crunch Time. That's Dave Potts. Cheese is good. Kevin Roth. Roth, take it away. It's all yours.
Appreciate it, Dino. Welcome to it, ladies and gents. This is indeed Crunch Time, sponsored by FanDuel, and it is generally the show where we bring on two of the sharpest minds in the biz. We decided this man right here is so smart. He has the brains of two great
We actually
DFS
decided.
experts.
We decided you're going to do half the content, is what we actually decided.
Shit, I missed that. That's going to be trouble. The weather is nice and quiet, so I am absolutely thrilled with that. I do like the weather in the Mets game. It's for pitchers, to be clear. It's kind of cool. Winds are blowing in. Is there decent pitchers there, Cheese?
It's a pitcher's game anyway. And it was like,
what's the total? Oh,
7.5. So it's so both pitchers are of the risk reward boom or bust style. I think the weather is especially helpful to Hunter Green, who's all about home runs. If he's not giving up home runs, he's got a lot of upside. So I think he gets a boost for sure.
Yeah. Alan says we need Roth to break down catchers. I will. I'm not even going to look at things, and I will be able to do that. But first, we got to say our hellos. We got to say our pleasantries. Also, I will stress my recommendation. Have you seen Jury Duty, Cheese?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That was very, very cool, though.
Such
a great concept.
It's brilliant. Okay. Well, with that, I'm like, I'll watch an entire show, and then the next day someone will be like, hey, what are you watching? And I'll be like, I have no idea. It's gone. It's escaped me at that point. Yeah, we got some questions here. We got people want NFL. They want my NFL stacks. They want my dong picks. You get some weather dongs. We're going to do it all here, but Cheese, I may lean heavily on you for some of the content today. You want to kind of go over the slate in general, or you just want to dive right into pitchers?
Yeah. So big picture is there are a crazy ton of good pitchers without a lot of like super amazing elite pitchers, but like they're all good enough to play. Like there's 15-ish pitchers that I think are good enough to play. And a pretty concentrated group of chalk, and then just everything else is like completely evenly okay. It ends up being kind of a strange slate, just because of how many of the pitchers are good enough you don't really want to play against, but not so great that you just have to play them either.
Okay. Well, then I guess with that, we can jump right into it and talk about those good pitchers.
Yeah. So like I said, there really truly are at least a dozen, if not 15 or so pitchers that you could play. So if I don't name the guy that you like, he's probably still pretty good play. I'm just going to try to narrow it down a little bit rather than just saying, hey, these are the 15 guys you can play. On FanDuel, you'll see Tariq Skubal with all of the dots. He's my favorite pitcher for sure on both sites. Really, unless you're trying to get up to Justin Steele on FanDuel, which you don't really need to do, salary is kind of not a thing. I mean, there's a few lineups you'd want to make where you want to go cheap at pitcher, but for the most part, any of these guys under 10K, which is most of the people that you're going to play, it's pretty easy to fit. So Skubal and Griffin Canning, those two are, I think, the chalk on FanDuel, and those are my two favorite pitchers on FanDuel. I do not feel the need to go out of my way to try to get weird and different. And I think Seth Lugo is kind of right there with them. And so let me stop right there and say it is kind of weird to have a slate with Aaron Nola and Justin Steele and even Logan Webb, even though he's in cores, and say that Griffin Canning, Seth Lugo, and Tariq Skubal are chalk. I mean, that's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
It's partly that Nola has more been just kind of good and not really great this year. And like Nola and Steele and Jose Barrios and certainly Logan Webb, they're in tougher spots. Whereas Canning, Skubal, and Lugo are all in fantastic matchups. So to me, those three are pretty good chalk. I think the only thing, and we'll talk about it at the bats, but as long as you're not playing those chalk pitchers with the Twins and the Giants, you're fine. Like that's what the chalk is. But what I would say is, like, I just prefer those guys straight up over Nola, over Justin Steele, and you save some money with them. So that's just what I'm doing. The one guy that I don't like that I think people are going to play, and I know the bat likes, is Lucas Giolito. He absolutely has strikeout ability, and he has a long leash, which is why the projection is going to be high. I hate the way he's been pitching. Like, he's allowing more home runs than Hunter Green, which is not easy to do. And his control has been horrendous. Texas is still good. So I personally, I don't have any Giolito, but I don't think there's anything wrong with playing him either.
Did you mention David Peterson? I'm seeing this price here, 6'6".
So I had not gotten down to the lower range yet.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm just talking about all the guys who are basically over 8K on DK and over 9K on FanDuel.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of my chalk group that I like is Skubal, Lugo, and Canning. The next guy I'm throwing in is Hunter Green in that same price range. That's the boomer bust guy in the Mets game.
Yeah.
But so the other cheap guy that you were just asking about, yes, is also in that game, David Peterson. He's going to be chalky on DraftKings for sure. I think he's clearly the best cheap guy on DraftKings. He's only like vaguely cheap on FanDuel, like $8,000. It's useful for sure. And he is in my pool there. Like he's my basically fifth guy in. Skubal, Canning, Lugo, Green, Peterson. I think those five are all I have on FanDuel. But on DK, Peterson is probably my second or third highest owned pitcher. And I think that will be the case for the field just because he allows you to do whatever you want. So I think one of Skubal, Canning, Lugo with Peterson is the chalk.
Right. That's what I was about to ask.
And I think that's good chalk. But that's 4 pitchers. So, and there's plenty more past that. Giolito will get ownership, Nola, Green. There's so many people getting ownership that I don't think this is one of those. We're not getting like 70% Skubal or anything.
Right.
So I think you play who you like, which for me, Skubal, then Canning, then Lugo, then Hunter Green, then David Peterson.
Okay. We had a
even on
DK
DK,
there.
that's most of my pool.
You saying play whoever you want? Is that what you're telling me? Play whoever you want.
I think you don't really need to worry about ownership as a reason not to play whoever you want.
Play wherever you want.
Very good. Let me hear it again. Let me hear
Play
it.
wherever you want.
It's so good. Like it sounds like he was doing that, like intentionally over being himself in that clip, but that's just literally what he sounds like.
I had to make sure the volume was low on this one.
Feel free to mix that in at any.
I did the Blender's morning show, and pre-show, like he's very like, hey Dave, how's it going? And we'll talk about the batters, and they turn there and say, good morning. It's just like, just killed me. Oh, okay. Anyway,
oh man,
good time stuff.
He is such a character. He really is. Fantastic with game theory and really is a phenomenal host and expert. But man, he is a character. I'll tell you that.
The one other thing I'm going to throw out there. So there are some lineups on DraftKings where it's very enticing to try to go double cheap. It's dicey because there's so many good pitchers. Some of them are going to have good games, but Peterson could have an ace level game. And then I'm throwing in a very little bit of Zach Thompson just because I think he's good. I don't like the matchup. I don't like him per se. But for those couple of lineups where I just really wanted to go Alvarez, Tucker, Seager, Bellinger, or whatever, that's what I did to get there.
Okay. Are you concerned that in that one you're building the same lineup as others, or not really? Because
Zach Thompson is not the chalk other cheap SP2. I mean, I don't think there really is one, but it wouldn't be him if there is one.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. We got a couple pitcher questions. Let me just knock out one of these real quick. Jose says, what if I play Peterson Green together or Peterson Canning for cash?
Yes. So what I want to say, both for cash and tournaments, Peterson and Green are in the same game. Skubal and Canning are in the same game. So that's 4 of the 5 main pitchers opposing each other. I don't care at all that they're in the same game. Like I'm not chasing the points for the win. So I'm totally happy with Peterson Green in the same lineup and Peterson Canning. I would say though, in cash, I would lean Canning over Green.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. All right. We got to talk about some of the bats and some of the stacks. But before we do this, have I mentioned this show is sponsored by FanDuel? Make sure you're signing up. This show presented by FanDuel. Get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed, plus $100 off NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube TV when you bet $5 on any Week 2 game. For new users in, Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wyoming. Terms and conditions do apply. Must be 21 and up. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Cool little promo going on by our sponsor site, FanDuel. So make sure you are checking that out. Also, make sure you hit the like button. Someone pointed out in chat, more people voted on the cats versus dogs thing than click thumbs up. So I know you're there. I know you're capable of clicking a thing. There's a thumbs up. Just click it. We're trying to keep the show free for you. So click it for us, for you. All right, Cheese, let's talk about the stacks. What are we doing?
Yeah, so kind of like I mentioned at the top, the chalk is the Giants and Cores, and then the Twins against the White Sox, and then kind of Houston, but not really Houston as a full stack because they're super expensive. But really, outside of those three teams, I don't think ownership is anything to worry about at all on the hitter side either. And basically with the Astros, really it's probably just Alvarez who's chalky enough to matter. And then there's a couple random cheap bats that might get some ownership, but even most of those are Giants and Twins. So I really think that's just what you need to worry about. So outside of those three teams, Giants, Twins, Astros, which I do certainly like all three of them. My next favorite stacks are the Cubs and the Rangers. But it's all extremely jumbled at that point. Like the Brewers are right in that mix as well. Padres, Mets, Tampa. So it's all very jumbled.
Okay. Jumble is all right. I mean, the pitchers are kind of jumbled. The stacks are kind of, it does seem like it would be hard to land on something super chalky.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. We like it. We're going to go around the horn. We're going to talk position by position. But before anyone clicks over to catcher, I was told I'm going to provide the analysis. So here we go. I don't even know what teams are playing because there's no weather concern. So I really
almost all of them. Not the Braves, but almost everyone else.
Well, look, on the high end, I like Will Smith. He's reliable out there. Of course, you got Rutch Dog, Andy Rutschman. Is he hurt? Actually, he might be hurt.
It's Adley, but yeah, no, he's playing. You've done that before. Yeah. Yes. For a guy that you love so much, but yes.
Yeah. My guy, Andy Rutschman. And then don't forget, a sneaky GPP play. You got to target a guy that can go yard here in your stacks. And when I think about going yard, I think about Kyle Rowley, the big dumper. He's got a shot to hit you too. So you got to have him mixed in a little bit. That's all I got. I don't know how to do.
It's really not bad. However, what I'll say, this is actually a slate where cheap catchers will be the chalk. Patrick Bailey and Ryan Jeffers.
Yeah.
It's not a slate where a lot of people are going to spend up, which certainly makes it interesting to spend up to the guys you mentioned, along with Real Muto and Contreras.
I should have mentioned play the guys in the Coors game. Obviously, you always
so that's Patrick Bailey, and he's cheap, so he'll be like the cash game chalk. And then Jeffers is also cheap for the Twins. Mitch Garver is right in that decent spend up group as well, along with Sal Perez. It's a lot of good players. So it's really, I think you can wait on catcher and see what range you're in. If you're in the 3K range, you got 2 of them. If you're in the 4K range, you got a couple. If you're in the 5K range, you've got like 4. So I don't think you need to plan your day around catcher.
Okay. Alan says, someone who just subbed to RotoGrinders for the first time is watching Crunch Time and immediately regretting their decision after listening to me explain catcher. To be clear, I'm a weatherman. I'm not an analyst. We're just having some fun. Okay. Hey, with that, we can move it along to first base. And Cheese, from now on, I will let you steer the ship, and I'll kind of stand back here.
All right. First base is actually not super great. It's kind of weirdly just okay for the size of the slate. Most of the spend up guys are in tough matchups. The exception is Cody Bellinger. If you got salary, he is far and away my favorite first baseman, like by a lot. Because all the next guy, like Freeman, Harper, Alonso, Goldschmidt, Vlad, they're all kind of in blah matchups. So I'm not really playing any of them outside of stacks. So it's Bellinger for me if I'm spending up. I like Lamont Wade. but among pinch hit risk, like he's one of the highest for the Giants, so I'm not crazy about it. I think I like the Rangers more than most people and probably more than I should, so I'm playing Nate Lowe. I think Alex Kirilloff on DK and Rowdy Tellez on DK are going to end up super chalky because I mentioned other than Bellinger, the spend ups are just not in great spots, and those guys are basically free. They both have home run upside against pretty weak pitchers, so I'm quite content with Kirilloff and or Tellez. I would prefer Kirilloff slightly, but if you need the $400, it's about the same thing.
Okay. How about second base?
They're less useful, I'll say, on FanDuel.
Gotcha.
If you need them, it's fine. And Garrett Cooper, I guess, in the same sort of realm as a cheap guy.
Okay. How about second base, Cheese?
So second base, I think, is better than first base. Some weird stuff. Estrada is probably like the cash game play. It would have been Jorge Polanco, but with him out of the lineup, I do like Julian, but not quite as much. I love the spend up trio of Altuve, Betts, and Semien. But if you can't get there, Brandon Lau is next for me. Like, he fits really well on FanDuel at 33. And then on DK, he's a little more expensive than Julian, but I just prefer Lau. So if you've got the $700, that's what I would do, especially in tournaments outside of twin stacks. My favorite cheap guy is Michael Massey. Christian Javier against lefties is like slightly worse than I am against lefties. It's so weird how bad he is this year. Like, he's been so good for a while, and he's just not. So give me some Massey. Kevin Biggio, another kind of random cheap guy. Bryce Terang. There's a lot of plays that are respectable here. Yeah.
Okay. Easy enough. How about third base?
Royce Lewis is definitely the top play here. And he's one where I'm totally fine to like, I don't think you have to stack the Twins. I talked about this Twins being chalk. Do not feel like you have to stack the Twins to play some Twins. Like, I have Royce Lewis by himself more than I have him in stacks. Jose Ramirez and Rafael Devers, I think, are sneaky, which they should really never be sneaky. And I definitely like both of them. I didn't mention Josh Naylor at first. I think that little Guardians mini stack is okay against Gray with Ramirez and Naylor. And there's so many names here. I know there's a couple of cheap guys I want to mention. So Matt Chapman is crazy cheap on FanDuel. Like, he's just come back. And generally, I don't really like righties against Bayo, but he's kind of the guy who's got the fly ball stuff to be able to play against him. On DK, Chapman's expensive, so I don't really particularly care about him one way or another. JD Davis batting third in cores, and he's cheaper than Royce Lewis. I do like Royce Lewis better, and I like Jose Ramirez better, but it is, I guess Davis would probably be the cash game play just because he's cheaper and he's in cores. I think that's all I want to go out of my way to mention.
Okay. Well, then bring us to shortstop.
Corey Seager, probably my favorite play on the entire slate by a lot. I mentioned earlier, like, I understand why projections like Lucas Giolito, but like Seager is like, if you built something in a lab to ruin Lucas Giolito's life, you would build Corey Seager in that lab. So I love him. I think he may not be real, that's for sure. Bobby Witt is also a great spend up. Trey Turner's a pretty interesting spend up. Francisco Lindor is an interesting spend up. Gunnar Henderson, always. I love that Machado is a shortstop now on DK. and Estrada is a shortstop on FanDuel, as is Royce Lewis. So it ends up being that this position is loaded. So all these guys that are multi-position eligible, I'm playing at their other position, so I can play Seager or Witt or go cheaper with, like, certainly in stacks, Jeremy Pena or Willie Adames or Carlos Correa, Brandon Crawford. But this is a position I really want to spend up because all those guys are fantastic.
Okay, yeah, I'm noticing the projection on Royce Lewis, at least by FanDuel points, is 3 full points ahead of anybody else, which is a lot. I mean, that's a lot of points.
Like he was supposed to be super good, and it now looks like he is. He's in a great spot. Like the Twins in general, but Schultz, who he's facing, is a reverse splits power guy, and Lewis is showing that the power is real. So I am a fan.
Okay, very good. That takes us to the outfield. Give me some of your favorite plays there.
Love, as does everyone, Alvarez and Tucker. But because they're so expensive, I just don't think they're going to be crazy popular. I like him enough, Alvarez, I'm talking about, that even if he were to be 30% owned, I would play him. But the other guy that I just love that should be sneakier is Cody Bellinger. I mentioned him at first, and I do prefer him at first. But don't, if you wanted to play Tellez or Kirilloff at first, feel free to play Bellinger in the outfield. The Giants guys, I'm going to lean to Haniger ahead of Yasser Berdusky and Conforto, just because the pinch hit risk is always higher for the lefties facing a righty. And I like righties are better against Chase Anderson anyway. He's a reverse splits guy. So I'll take Haniger over those lefties, but they're all, of course, they're the Giants at core, so feel free. Chris Morel, I like, and Seiya Suzuki, which is, I mentioned the Cubs, is kind of one of my 2 favorites outside of the chalk. Fernando Tatis, certainly not sneaky, but he'll come in probably well below Alvarez and Tucker, so that's an interesting play. Probably my favorite cheap guy is MJ Melendez. It's like I mentioned with Massey at second. Javier is just not good against lefties. Those guys are pretty solid. Matt Wallner and Max Kepler are too cheap to be playing for the Twins. I don't know what that means. They're not too cheap to be playing for the Twins. They cost what they cost, and they play for the Twins.
Right.
I mean to combine those things. But sometimes words are hard. I think we're still waiting on a Cubs lineup. If Pete Crow Armstrong is in there, great name.
Got to play
2,600 on DK, and I think he's still 24 on FanDuel. I love him. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of outfielders always, but those are the highlights for me.
Okay, very good. We're going to take some QQs. We've got a few in the Discord. Make sure you're hitting us with a little thumbs up. Got a few in the YouTube as well. But we do want some home run picks, Cheese. And usually I go to the other guy first to buy you some time, but there is no other guy. So it's just you. You got to give me home run picks.
I see another guy right here talking to me.
It's my boy Andy Rushman going yard.
Okay, so I'll give you a few.
And real quick, Pete, aka PCA, is not in the lineup.
Okay, so we did get a.
Yeah,
I think let me go look at the Cubs. See, gotta see who's in for. Okay, Tauchman. I mean, that makes sense. And it makes Tauchman a pretty interesting play leading off. So home runs on the obvious side, I'll go with Jordan Alvarez and Corey Seager, or on the expensive side, I guess. Kind of mid-tier Brandon Lau, and then plenty of cheap home runs too. But I'll go with Rowdy Tellez.
Okay, I'm going to add Altuve. I see Robbie in the chat says Altuve is going to hit a bomb, and I agree. Altuve is another one of my home run picks. Give me Tuve in that Houston stack. Houston stack going off. Talking 13 runs tonight, Cheese.
I mean, yeah, that's very much in play.
Yeah. Okay, let's dive into some QQs. We still have 14 minutes or so. We'll see if the questions dry up. Cheese and I are just going to start talking about food and horses. You guys probably don't want that, so make sure you get those questions
Horse
in.
food. I mean, a lot of people have questions about horse food.
That's true. I did actually. That was one of my first questions when I learned you had a horse. What do you feed such a horse? All right, let's scroll up a wee bit into the Discord, see what we got. And I'll start here with Falcor. He says, FanDuel single entry Cheese. Do I play Scooball at pitcher and full stack Houston and Minnesota, or play Canning at pitcher and stack Houston, Minnesota, and San Fran?
I'm gonna need you to read that one more time.
Yeah, so it's FanDuel single entry, Scooball at pitcher with a full stack Houston and Minnesota, or Canning at pitcher and stack Houston, Minnesota, San Fran.
I would Scooball Houston, Minnesota.
Yes, very nice. Razzle Dazzle says, Cheese, the last outfielder in DK Cash, 4,800 or less. What do you got?
I actually noticed that like the 4K range is kind of weird at outfield. Like they're all pretty good, but none of them are great and feel like great cash game plays. If you don't have Haniger in there, that's what I would do. Yeah, Haniger or Yaz.
Okay. Right. Chinatown says, DK Cash Cheese, if Scooball is a stone cold lock for me at SP1, who are your top two choices for SP2? Note, Webb and Green are already X'd out. I like how he's asking this question with his own opinions already in. He's like, this is my lock. These are the guys I don't want to play. Like, I love that in that question.
Yeah, I like it too. It would be Canning and Lugo.
Great. Okay. DK Cash is 2v2 Cheese, Peterson Tucker or Canning Conforto?
Peterson Tucker.
All right. NBA DFS, aka Nbad FS, says, hey, why wouldn't Jock be starting versus righty tonight?
Mostly because Conforto's back. So they have a lot of players. And I'm going to assume like the Giants love to mess around, but sometimes in a good way, like they know things. The Giants know that Chase Anderson is reverse splits as well as I do. You know, it's not like they don't have the same information. So I actually don't think it's a bad thing for him not to be in there.
Okay. Cheese, how do you like the name Daisy for your dog? You mentioned your daughter not loving that name. How do you feel about the name Daisy?
I like it. Yeah. I'll mention that in the team meeting for sure.
Yeah. I like that. I do think it's a pretty strong dog name. I approve of it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what else we got. FanDuel Cash Cheese 2v2. Royce Tucker or Davis Jordan?
Ooh, both great. Davis Jordan.
Okay. DK from my guy Ball. JD Davis and Haniger or Lewis and Conforto Cheese?
Davis and Haniger.
Okay. Debate because they're both good, they're both bad. You love them, you don't.
Yeah,
like them?
no, they're both good. Like all these questions with where it's Davis or Lewis, it's like I would definitely say the Davis side and Cash. It's just close. Like when that gives you two Giants as opposed to splitting up the two chalk teams, I would side of the two Giants. Like it's a close enough question to really hem and haw about.
Okay. I approve of your like thinking deep on the question and thinking deep about it. Good job. I'm sure the people love that as well. We got a question from our guy Alex here at RotoGrinders. He says, DK single entry. I can't fit Tucker and Tuve into my stack. Who do I leave off? So Tucker, Luis Urias, or Altuve and Kratchestad, which I think I nailed the pronunciation there.
Correct. So who do you leave off? I think I would leave off Altuve.
Don't you?
I know.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I just, to me, the lefties have they both have great edges, but like I just prefer the lefties there against Greinke. I don't think either one's wrong.
Yeah,
but that's what I would do.
Let's see. Jay Brunton just says Heston Kajastat with fire fire emojis, which I like. How do you
Fire
pronounce
emoji to the way you pronounce his name, which is totally correct. I mean, that's absolutely it.
Yeah, nailed it.
It is weird, like how many, like it seems like the Orioles and the Reds have brought up like a ton of great prospects. They haven't all panned out. There's a lot of teams that have, but like it just seems like every other day, there's somebody coming up, and usually their names are better than they are at baseball right away. But like this guy should hit for some average immediately, at least, if not some power.
Okay. I mean, some of these teams have been bad, like Baltimore for a long, long time.
And
they've been
now all of a sudden they're just like so sneaky good. Like I think even like you're kind of semi-casual baseball fan probably still doesn't even understand that they're good. And like when they see them in the playoffs, they'll be like, wait, the Orioles are in the playoffs?
Right. They're gonna say, wait, where are the Orioles from? I don't even know that team name because they've been at the bottom of the division. But I believe my Tampa Bay Rays are only one game back for the division for what it's worth. So
yeah, and that's who's playing this weekend. That's the series.
Ooh, that's fun. I didn't know that. All right, let's see what else we got. Pick Nostrum says DKGPP. We still have about 9 minutes. Full Twins or full Giants with an Astros mini when we're stacking here.
I'm gonna go Twins.
Okay. NYG fan says, "Careful, Roth. Don't get suspended from covering the Orioles because the guy, I guess,
you're not allowed to say that they're good now."
Right. That is, you can't say that. That is rude. Chinatown, Cheese, in the expression hold your horses, how hard is it to hold your horses if they want to run?
So that's the thing. How hard it is totally dependent on them. If they do not want to be held, you are not holding your horses, period.
Yeah. They're large animals, man.
Yes. You are just deciding if you want to hold on and maybe die or just let them go do what they're doing.
Yeah, I recommend letting go. NBA DFS, FanDuel Cash, Cheese, Tucker or Lewis? That's K Tucker or Lewis.
Yes. I'm gonna lean slightly to Tucker, but that's so close. Like I don't think you're at all wrong either way.
Okay, I'm gonna have another close one for you here. Snowfighter says, one off in a GPP. Who do you prefer on DK, Betts or Tucker?
Yeah, I prefer Tucker. But again, it's interesting. Like if the rest of your lineup was like a Giants twin stack, maybe you do play Betts just because he's going to be super sneaky for how good he is at baseball. But anything outside of a super chalky lineup, I would just play Tucker.
Okay. Beaner says FanDuel GPP, Suzuki or Morel Mushroom. By the way, Morel mushrooms are the tastiest, most expensive, and like rarest mushrooms. I don't know if you knew that. It's a thing.
Honestly, I didn't. And now I don't know what the question was.
Suzuki or Morel?
Give me Suzuki, but very close.
Okay. What lefty on the Giants, Cheese, from ASAP Chargers? What lefty on the Giants is least likely to get pinch hit for?
Well, let's not count Brandon Crawford, even though he could get pinch hit for too. Because really, it's you're talking Yaz, Conforto, and Wade. I think Yaz is the least likely to, but it's all so much with them. It's all about where they are in the lineup when the pitcher comes in, not a pre-planned, we want this guy to come out. So a lot of it you just can't guess because when that first pitcher change comes in, like whoever's up to bat, that's just who's out.
Okay. All right. Adult Slim says, I've never had a mushroom before. We need to remedy that. They're delicious.
I mean, I don't like mushrooms, but I mean, I'm a human. I've had a mushroom before.
Yeah. I mean, you put them on a burger, you put them on a steak. They're just whatever you put them in some stir fry, whatever you put them in, they just like elevates everything around them. They're great. Lone Wolf DFS is Cheese. I'm curious if this man is playable and his name is PFAT.
I mean, I would say playable in that. So if you need to do the 2 double cheap pitcher, and I said I'm playing Zach Thompson, which PFAT, every bit, he's probably at least as good a pitcher as Zach Thompson. I don't want to play against the Cubs with him. I think he's too risky. But I mean, playable, yes. If I was doing 150, I would have a couple.
Okay. DK Cash from Tom, Tellez, Julien, or Kirilloff Massey?
Kirilloff Massey.
Okay, great. Razzle Dazzle last in a GPP, Matos in a full stack, or Salvi Perez 2,600 on FanDuel.
If it makes the full stack, just play Matos.
Okay. Chinatown says, does whether or not a horse is feeling their oats, I've never heard that expression, a factor in your ability to hold your horses? Have you heard that expression?
I mean, whether or not they have eaten their oats or whether or not they are heading toward their oats and you're not taking them there fast enough, that's a factor.
That would do it. Yep. J Sam's FanDuel.
That's Boomer's big problem. Like, he knows when it's time, and if you're like not getting there fast enough, he's on his way.
Yeah. J Sam's FanDuel large field GPP. I've got a Houston Mini with a Twins full. Who would you think is the better one-off with 3,800 left in the util? I currently have Haniger. Could I do better?
FanDuel 3,800. I don't love Giants one-offs on FanDuel. So he said Houston Mini. So you already have Lewis. I mean, Kyle Tucker's 38. Jose Ramirez is 38. I would definitely play both of them ahead of Fernando Tatis. I would play ahead of him. So, yeah, you can do better than Haniger, I think, as a one-off.
Okay. Robbie says, Roth, I don't think you can say Beaner. It's someone's username, and I literally, if that's a slur, I don't even know who it is disparaging. So that's
talking about Kirk Dees, I guess.
Yeah.
People from Boston.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Beaners and this is username. Let's see what else we got. Hey, jumping in the YouTube chat real quick. Is Steele better in GPPs versus Green? Steele is better in GPPs versus Green on DK from Matt Hall.
Yeah, I kind of think so. It is weird how like nobody at all is playing Justin Steele. I mean, he's really good at pitching, and he's definitely a much safer skill set than Hunter Green. So yes, if you don't need that salary, I would say yes to Steele.
Okay. Got a question from Kenny Walton in the YouTube chat. He says, Potts. I like when people call you Potts. DKF, pitcher who you like. I don't know what that means either. Peterson, Skubal, or Lugo and Thompson.
I like Peterson, Skubal, and that's the chalky one, but I like it enough better that kind of like I said at the top, I'm just playing the pitchers I like and not really going to worry about it.
Okay. Is Boston a vomit stack from a name which I am definitely not allowed to say this name? Is Boston a vomit stack?
I mean, I think they're better than a vomit stack. I mean, I think they're a quite reasonable, just regular stack.
Oh, DKF Donkey Knife Fight.
What?
All right. Let's see if we got any more questions here. We're about a full minute here from Locke. Is this? No, we got that one. If you got any questions, get them on in here. Scrolling up. Which player is going to hit 2 bombs tonight? Cheese from Dave Jones.
Corey Seager.
Davy Jones Locker. He probably hears that all the time. I'm sorry. Seager. That's a good choice. There you go. Matt, what about see, Matt, I'm sharp to those. I'm sharp to these fake names that you're trying to get me to read, Matt. You can't fool me anymore. J Sam says, you know what? In that prior question with 3,800, says I just decided to full stack Houston and play Bregman. That's probably the right choice there for sure.
That is the right choice. Yeah,
that's it. That's the right move. Okay. Hey, guess what? We are basically at lock and we're out of questions. You got dinner plans, Cheese?
Well, so I don't know how no one seems to be talking about this. I don't know if it's a thing everywhere, but you know, The Dark Knight is back in theaters this weekend.
Yeah. You told me.
So my dinner plans is popcorn. I'm going to see The Dark Knight.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Are you going solo? Just like straight up?
Actually, my son is going with me.
Nice.
Yeah. And then on Sunday, me and my daughter are going. And tomorrow I'll probably go by myself.
I approve. So you were telling me about this and it inspired me to rewatch the movie, The Batman with Bane. I can't remember. It was not as good as
that's
Dark
the last one. The Dark Knight Rises, the third one.
It's the worst of the
the worst of the 3, but still amazing.
It's still like I forgot how good it was. all I remembered from seeing that movie really was like disappointment because the prior two were 10 out of 10 movies.
Right.
But it's still pretty good. I'm like halfway through it. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. This is a good movie.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, with that, I think we should get on out of here. You go enjoy your movie and popcorn. And I got to figure out what the hell I'm going to do for dinner. I got to cook something for the kids. So for Cheese, you know what? Actually, Cheese, when there's just two of us, I prefer if you were the one to send it out. You don't have to crunch them out. You can just say like a heartfelt word.
Something to crunch. See, hey, Lizzie, come here.
Oh, let's see the dog. Oh, that's a big dog to be. Look at that.
Look how good she was too. She got a little harness on. She didn't bother the show at all. Look,
no, and just like so calm. My dog will be like going crazy.
She knows she's on the air right now. She loves it. So anyway, hello.
All right, I feel like that's a good way to close it out. With that, we can get out of here. So for Cheese, for our incredible production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys, we appreciate you. We love it. We will catch you tomorrow. You have been